Hello, and welcome to the Rogue Hunters podcast, episode 14. I'm joined by the usual boys, Snickle,
Hello.
Brian,
Hello.
and myself, Waves. We're gonna have some fun topics for today. We have all our socials down below, and as well as all the links for the articles. And we also have a special announcement since we're kind of reaching 100 subs. Once we reach 100 subs, we will be streaming Killzone. We'll be streaming our boost of Killzone, Shadowfall. So, get us up to 100.
And put us through the pain.
And put us through the pain. we might throw Mercenary in there since Snickle still has to do that game. But we'll see.
That's true. I'm gonna be playing with bots though.
So, who wants to start us off from what we've been playing?
You can go, Brian, if you want to.
Alright, I'll go. Let's see. What have I done in the past week? Oh, I got the 100% in Control.
Nice.
So that game is officially off the list. Thank God that game can burn. Let's see.
Now that you played all the DLC and everything, what's your final thoughts on it?
Of the game in total, or just the DLC?
Just in total, I guess.
This game can burn. I deleted it as soon as it was done. The DLC wasn't as bad as the actual game, but I don't know.
How many times did you fall asleep playing it?
53.
Damn, I feel it.
Jesus.
Let's see. Now that that's done, I beat the story for Tomb Raider Legend. Finally into hard difficulty, so all I got left is the time trials.
Nice.
And that game will be a platinum. I hate the stupid glitch for the final boss in that game because, well, it took me an hour to beat that boss because there's a glitch in the game where the boss can randomly hit you and take 90% of your health. And it's completely random, or you could get hit and die right off the bat. So that was kind of fun.
What is the final boss of that game? I haven't played that game since like 2011 or 2012. It's been a minute.
It's like that shadow creature that was like in the 3rd level and like that was killing all her friends and all that at the beginning.
Okay.
And so that's basically all that is, and you gotta like take the thing down like you hit him with the sword or whatever, like with a wave or whatever, like 4 times, and he'll go down. You gotta run up and hit triangle. He gets back up. You gotta do it like 4 times. But I had problems where like I was getting hit by attacks that he didn't even throw at me. Like the game didn't even register that it threw it, but I was getting hit by it.
Yeah, I think I remember that happening. I don't remember too much about that game just because I played it like so long ago, but I do remember like funky things about it, like that.
And then, so I started doing some of the time trials. I got one done. Then I started following like one guide. He's like, "Oh yeah, just use the error run sheet and all that." And I'm like, "Well, it'd help if you actually explain how to do it in the freaking video instead of just doing it and not saying a word in the video about it." But
I feel like
I
feel like that game is like one of those games that are like kind of old, where all the trophy guides and all that, like all the game guides or whatever, are like kind of ass, just because of how old it is.
Yeah, that's why I like making collectible guides for those older games, because like typically they have like the guides that are good are very poor quality. And then everything else is kind of shit because no one really knew like what they were doing at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the one guide I saw for like the collectibles, he was all on PC.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm like, all right, fine. You're still playing the same game I am. I don't care. But when somebody's doing like this, like, oh, you gotta do this and that, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you just do it like you're supposed to do it? And then you could do like a backtrack of like a clip of how to do it with the cheat or like with the air running glitch. So
I'll
get that done.
Yeah, the other thing that I've noticed about like older guides as well is like most of the times the people that make like when I make guides for like a variety of games just because like I make a guide whatever I'm playing. But like back in the day, like when guides, like video guides were first starting, or even like written guides like game facts or whatever, like a lot of those are written by people who like are like super like try hard or like super fans. So like they know like all this information that like no one else knows because it's literally their life because they're writing a guide for it. And then like what you're talking about, Brian, where people are saying like, do this, this, and this. Dude, how the fuck? I don't know how to do that. Like, show me how to do that. I'm not like a god at the game.
Like it took me like 10 minutes to find like a Google search, and even a Google search wasn't popping up. Or they're telling me a completely different way how you could cheat the time trials, but it's been patched already. So now I'm like, I can delete. They're saying I can delete the game, and delete that patch, reinstall the game, but not with that patch. And then I guess there's a way where you could start the game with, like, you go to level select, hit time trial, exit, make sure the clock starts, exit out of time trial, restart the game, or restart that level, but on easy mode, not on time trial mode, go through the level, and once you die, and once the checkpoint, and you reload through that last checkpoint, then the time trial clock will start, and it will say that you completed the game or the level after you beat that level. So that's one way I guess you could do it. But
I think I did that method. Now that you're mentioning that, I think that that's something that I did.
That's probably going to be the method I'm going to do because fuck it. I don't feel like rushing through this, and I just want to get it done. Yeah. And that'll probably be like a Saturday thing. Or I'm just going to sit down like Friday night or Saturday and be like, alright, I'm just going to get this game out of my life.
Yeah, I debate going back and playing old games just to make guides. Is that wrong?
No.
Like that, or like any mid to late 2000s game. I always, because that seems to be like the big time of like when those guides were around, when people were just like not like cocky, but like those are the people that were making it, like super fans and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I think when I was playing, what's it called, Onimusha, I had to follow a game facts guide. And it's exactly how you say it, where it's like, it's super fans of the game that like know every little mechanic in the game. And you're just like, how do I do that?
Yeah, and like it's useful. Like, don't get me wrong. I think out of every site that I used for like walkthroughs, GameFAQs is not the most appealing site because everything's in like courier text. But it's definitely the most useful because they're very in depth with everything that they talk about. And most of the times they'll do like fan submitted like alternatives to like guides. Like, what was the last game that I played? Hold on, I have to look it up. There was a game that I did recently, and I used a I think it might have been, it was like Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast or something. And I used a game facts, and like in the game facts the guy was like, the guide was saying like, you're gonna do this boss battle, and then there was like 10 comments below it of people saying like, I used this method to beat it. I used this. So, like, it gave, like, alternative methods to beat it, which was, like, useful, but...
Oh, yeah, like in the comments. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, they definitely have, like, useful things, but I think, like, personally, I think GameFAQs is the best. The other one that I really like, which is, like, more recent, is, like, even though PSMP has guides, and even though we've written guides for PSMP, I'm not a fan of PSMP guides, just the way that they're, like, structured, but, like, PlayStation Trophies, I feel like, is another good place for, like, guides.
Xbox Achievements
and
is also really good.
Yeah, Xbox Achievements as well. I guess the problem that I have with like common games and guides when people do like general guides is and this happens on PlayStation Trophies every once in a while, they don't actually like list out like certain things. So like, for instance, when Brian and I were talking about doing the show games, right? You go to the overview of the game and it'll say like, there's 3 online trophies, and you're like, okay. But then when you go down to the actual like walkthrough, they don't tell you what those 3 online trophies are.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you should literally be like explaining every section of like every trophy and like what trophy you're going to be earning or you should be earning in those sections. Like, you're writing a guide. Like,
right.
That's one good thing about the PSN profiles ones.
Oh, you can give them like subgroups and stuff.
Yeah, aren't you like required to do that?
Yeah.
You have to like list every trophy in something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is nice. There's no way to like organize it that way, but at least you can like go there and like at the top of the guide it'll say like multiplayer required, and it'll show like all of them, and then you can click. They're all hyperlinked, so you can click on them. Like the organization of PSMP is good, but it's the same issue that I have with the PSMP boosting sessions, where like the organization of the boosting sessions is phenomenal. Like I don't think there's any better way to do it, but it's the people that use it or utilize it that makes it so like not fun or bad.
Yeah.
What else have I? Let's see. Then I started playing Ratchet and Clank All for One.
Nice.
I got that in the mail Saturday when I got home from work. It was a sealed copy too. I was shocked about that.
Did that come with an online pass?
Yes, it did.
I'm trying to remember because that one in Full Frontal has multiplayer, but I think I remember Full Frontal having an online pass, maybe, or maybe it was
Full Frontal had
one.
So does All for One.
Man, remember online passes? That was crazy.
Yeah, they make you pay $10 to play online for a game. That's fucking crazy.
I remember All for One. I think is like the only Ratchet and Clank game I'm missing from my account.
Well, keep it that way because I've heard it's like the worst one to play.
But you gotta do all the series.
I know. Yeah. Wait, did you do Ratchet Deadlocked?
Hell yeah.
Oh, you a true fan then?
Damn, nice.
Ratchet Deadlocked.
That's on the list.
That's digital only.
Yep.
If you buy Full Frontal Assault online, you get Deadlocked for free with it.
There you go. The more you know.
I already bought Full Frontal for physical.
I'm a physical guy too, so.
And then I started a game that Nicholas started, Marvel's Avengers.
Hell yeah, Waves is starting it soon too.
Nah, I'm good.
Man, we need a Black Widow. Come
what
on.
You mean?
That game looks so bad. Like, I'm sorry. I don't know if y'all like enjoy it or not, but it just looks so like tedious and boring.
I will.
Come on, you can be Iron Man.
I mean, I can talk about it when it comes around too, but I'll say personally, like, I don't think it's not the worst game. Like, it's not like a Destiny where, like, you remember when Destiny 2 came out and you were doing like fucking public events for like 2 weeks or something to get gear.
Yeah.
Or like Destiny 1 where you had to like sign on and do the daily, and the night like you had to like constantly do stuff. Like there is daily things to do in Marvels, but luckily like the progression goes kind of fast. Like the end game progression goes kind of fast. So the missions are fucking tedious and boring, and they are like the same thing over and over again, but like at least you don't have to do it like 100 times.
I guess, but I ain't trying to play that game.
No, I mean, it definitely, it's not like it's an easy game. Like, it's still going to require some time. And I'm grateful that you only really have to focus on one character to kind of get leveled up and everything. Like, there's a trophy for getting, like, a character to, like, power level 150. But then the only other power level trophy is for getting all of your characters to level 250 combined.
Right. That's not too bad.
Yeah, which, like, you may get that before you even get power level 150 with one. So it's, like, it's not awful. And then by the time you get power level 150 with one, you should be able to do every other trophy in the game. So.
All I know is Hulk is overpowered and awesome.
Oh, yeah, I'm using Thor. He OP, too.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, but that's what I've been playing. What about you, Snickle?
So basically, I finished up. I don't think I finished it, but I finished up Wreckfest last week on stream. It was on the 18th. Nice. I gotta pull my calendar up. Yeah, so it would have been last Thursday. So it was after that we did the podcast last week. So finished up Wreckfest, which was fun, and then immediately started Marvel's Avengers. Basically played through like the single player in Marvel's Avengers because you have to kind of do that before you start the end game stuff, because you don't have access to all the characters. But so I did that, and then I think I spent maybe like a dozen hours in the end game content. So it's not bad right now. I think my character, I'm playing as Thor, and I think I have him up to power level like 112 or something right now. So
that's not too bad. My Hulk's about 50 right now.
Okay. Yeah, so I streamed it last night, and when I started streaming, I was at power level 60, and I got up to level 112. So I streamed for maybe 5 hours and went up 50 levels. So it really isn't, the grind isn't awful.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that bad.
So, but I've been playing that. My goal is to, again, get Thor to level 150, and then kind of do all the other like random trophies in the game. You sadly have to log on the game every day because you have to complete missions called villain sectors, which you typically can only get from daily missions, and you also you have to complete assignments as well, which are basically like bounties in Destiny, where you have to like get 50 headshots or something. Like you have to do 100 of those, and then you have to upgrade a primary. Where is it? You have to upgrade a major. If you have to fully upgrade a major artifact, which requires materials that you only get from like daily events. So when it comes down to it, you honestly only have to sign on and play for like an hour a day if you really wanted to. But I'm just trying to get the game done, so it's like the only thing I'm playing right now.
I made some good progress in it yesterday. I got the story done yesterday, so that's a plus.
Yeah, I wish. I don't know about you, Brian, but like, do you wish the story was longer?
Yes.
Like, it almost seems like the story is like like the beginning is stupid. Don't get me wrong. I hate how it starts. It starts so slow, and then it picks up, and then like you're kind of just like going around and doing things, and then the next thing you know, it's over.
What's a live service
I think the
game?
game would have been better off as a single player game.
You what?
What, Waves?
I was gonna say it's like a live service game. No, like it's gonna be like told through like the next 5 years or whatever.
I mean, that's how it's like. That's how they're saying, but there hasn't been trophies or anything. Like, yes, it's live service in the terms of like content that they're providing, because they still have to provide. They're still providing characters to play as, but the thing I don't understand about it is like with the live service thing is like you play like it's called Marvel's Avengers. Like they're like adding like all these fucking, or they're planning on adding like all these characters. I just think that it's like, I don't know. I think Brian said it. I think the game would have been better off as like a single player game, but like the concept behind it is cool, but it's just too much. And the other thing that I realized with the end game content in it is like in Destiny, you would work for your end game content. You would hit like a soft cap, and then you'd have to do like raids to get light level, like gear to get higher light level. I don't know how it is now, but like that's how like Destiny 1 was, which was like the best Destiny. But I don't know how the end game works in this, because like you get gear from doing missions. I don't know if the soft cap is level 150 or that's just like the cap in general. But I guess I'll find out in the next week as I'm playing through it. But the actual end game content, I think, are these things called hive missions.
Just seems like so much work for like such a little payoff.
I mean,
all right, like I'm going through your list right now, Snickles, so I want to see what you got done in the game. And you have a trophy that I don't have yet either, and people like, and it's like 96% of people have it. Defeat 10 or more enemies with a single heroic ability activation. I cannot get that.
Yeah, it's glitched. That one and defeating 50 with heroic abilities they're both glitched. People haven't earned them since the 11th. So it was broken. They broke it in something, and people are saying they've already submitted like tickets to Square about it. But I guess what I like, the reason I started playing Marvel Avengers was not because I was like super interested in it, but I guess my issue is like, so like Wave said, it's a games as service, and my issue is like, I feel like if you don't play games as a service close to when they come out or shortly after, they're nearly impossible to play like years down the line. Oh yeah. Like if you look at like Destiny 1, like if you were to go play Destiny 1 nowadays, you could get the platinum, I think, pretty easily, but like if you look at the DLC, there's trophies and like what's the DLC that I'm thinking of? Hold on. I'm pulling up some nostalgic memories here for me because I literally played Destiny 1 so much. I think it's like the Rise of Iron DLC. I think it's not that one. It's the Taken King DLC. And you have to do the quests for like to get the gun, the one gun. I think it's called like the Echoes of Oryx, or like I don't know, there's something. But anyway, in that DLC you have to do a thing. You have to do like kind of like a mini game that's called the Court of Oryx. Do you remember that, Waves?
Yeah.
It was basically, I don't want to say like it was a mini raid, but it was kind of like a mini raid boss battle. Like the each enemy had like a different mechanic that you had to follow. And I just keep thinking, like, if you were to do that nowadays, like how hard it would be to do like by yourself. Like it's almost like you have to go into that game with a group of 6 people if you want to do it nowadays. Which is kind of what scares me about like games that are like games as a service, because you don't know what's, and there's even other games that are not like games as a service that are like scary as well, like Star Wars Battlefront 1, where you can't even play the DLC because no one plays the damn game. But
Battlefront 2 is eventually gonna end up being scary.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to get at is like I am trying to focus on games that are kind of like games as a service that I have interest in. Not every like game that's a games as a service, but just ones that I'm kind of interested in. Like Brian and I have already talked about like the next like games as a service we're gonna do. So
no Battleborn?
No. That game can die. Game is fucking poo poo.
I wanted to ask y'all, since I wasn't here last week.
What's up?
I know y'all played Resident Evil 6, and I just wanted to like get your guys like general thoughts, I guess.
On the game itself, or like the like what we did?
Just the game itself, I guess.
I mean,
I know you haven't like played like the story through yet and all that, but
yeah, I haven't played the story, but like I think Brian and I talked about it, but like I like the way the game plays, like actually plays. Like I think it's a good like third person shooter. Like for me, like I've never played RE4, but I've heard it was like a game-changing game. And then when RE5 came out, like I've played RE5. I'm not a fan of the way RE5 plays. I think it plays bad. It's like boring. It's not scary. Like it's not like, it doesn't feel like RE. And then RE6, like it's actually like really smooth to play. And at least playing like the multiplayer modes, like they were kind of interesting to play. It wasn't just like shooting your teammate over and over again for 3 hours. So, I enjoyed the game.
I feel like RE6...
I'm enjoying it.
You're enjoying it? I feel like RE6 gets a lot of, like, don't get me wrong, it's a shit RE game, but, like, it's fun as hell, like, especially, like, the Mercenaries mode. Like, there's that one mode where you, like, send your zombies over.
Yeah,
that's what me and Stick were playing.
Yeah, that shit was so much fun and stuff.
Yeah, we were talking, when I was talking about it last week, I was just telling Brian, like, we were just talking about how, like, the game modes are actually, like, kind of interesting. Like, like, a lot of, like, games multiplayer at the time felt, like, shoehorned, where it was just, like, it didn't feel like it fit in the game. And, like, like, I feel like RE6 multiplayer could have almost been, like, its own game. Because of, like, the options that they gave. Like, it wasn't just, like a, I think they had it, but it wasn't just, like, team deathmatch and everything. Like, there was actually really interesting modes.
Mm-hmm. Like the one where you come back as a zombie.
Oh, yeah. We still have to finish a few more of the modes, and we have to help Brian get the other ones done, but I don't know why RE5 doesn't get more hate than RE6. Like, I've heard people say that I've heard a lot of people say that RE6 is an awful game. Like, it plays bad, like, everything's bad about it. I mean, I don't think I've heard anyone say that RE6 is a good RE game, but I've heard a lot of people say that it's, like, one of their favorite, like, third-person, like, shooting games. So, but I've never heard anyone say that about RE5. FYI.
I find RE5 to be more fun if you're playing with someone. If you're playing it by yourself, it's not really that fun.
I just have such a sour taste in my mouth with that game. Like, I think it's partially because I played it by myself, but like, even the multiplayer that I've done so far is so fucking boring. Like, it takes forever to get through, and it's boring. And we got to do it again on the 4, so it's gonna be fun.
Well, you're putting yourself through that hell. You only have to do it once, but
I got RE6 on there twice, so I got to do RE5 twice. I got to.
Is that all you've played this week, Snickle?
Yeah, mainly my time has gone into Avengers, and I feel like it's going to be that way for next week as well. Just because I think it's like an 60 to 80 hour platinum or something like that. So,
Jesus,
it's taken some time to get through. But like I said, it's not awful. I tweeted out about this earlier today, but like, I think I have some sick liking of doing like games that make you like grind out stupid amounts of shit. Like, I did, and it all kind of started with like Killzone 2, perfect example. And we're not talking Killzone 2 like a few years before it went down. Now we're talking like prime time Killzone 2 when the servers were shutting down and everyone was trying to get in the top 1%. And then after that kind of just like sparked things, and then I was doing games like Twisted Metal, and like, what did I get done recently? Like, Tomb Raider 2030, the Tomb Raider reboot is kind of like the same way, doing the same shit over and over again. So I don't know. I think that there's like some weird satisfaction to getting that shit done. I don't know what it is. I can't even explain it, and I like it. So don't ask me how or why, but yeah. I've always gotten done like kind of stupid games though, but like I think I have some weird thing with like doing them nowadays.
I think it's like the dailies and all that. Like, just having like some kind of checklist, I guess, just kind of makes you want to do it.
Yeah, it's good to like, and I think I've talked about it before, but like the thing that was interesting about Killzone 2 at the time when I was doing it, which like a lot of people would probably say like, why the fuck would you do that? I think that's what a lot of people were saying at the time, because the actual gameplay itself is like really fucking boring. I was literally shooting my alt account in the head like thousands of times all week long. I don't even know how many hours I did it for, but the satisfying thing was like at the end, like basically setting a goal for yourself every day and then trying to like go for it. And then the most satisfying thing was when that Sunday like server reset came around and you were in the menu, you loaded into the multiplayer to see if you got in the top 1%, because it would literally just start popping your trophies. And just to like get it done and then go look at the leaderboard and be like, oh fuck man, I was number like 10 this week. This is fucking crazy. That was like a really satisfying feeling as well.
Yeah, with your PS3 server just on your floor.
Yeah. Rest in peace. I could have got it the first week that I did it.
Weren't you like 1 kill off or something like that?
I think I was like 1 or 2 levels off, and it came down to because we wasted the first day we played, we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. Second and third day we played, again, we knew what we were doing, but we weren't optimizing it. And then I went out and bought like a second PS3 at that time. And then I was doing it with all my alts over the weekend, and then I ended up missing it by a little bit. So I was like, God damn, man, if I literally just like started doing this a day earlier, like as efficient as I could have been, I could have gotten this the first week. But I got it the second week. It wasn't the end of the world. But I don't know, like, I don't even know about, like, Twisted Metal. Like, I don't know. There's just something it sounds, like, sick, but there's something that's, like, satisfying about those games. And I can't really explain what it is.
It's because of that ultra-rare plat.
I do think that it partially comes down to that. But, like...
Even though you...
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's probably what it is.
Even though you haven't finished Killzone 2 yet.
Oh, there's a lot of games that I've done the multiplayer for, like stupid multiplayers for, that I haven't finished, like Killzone 2. The only reason I did Twisted Metal was because I was going to make a Twisted Metal multiplayer guide before it went down, just to like piss off all the... I love making guides for like these super hard multiplayer games that are like ultra rares just to piss off like the elitist people, the elitist trophy hunters, and give away all the secrets. And I was gonna do that for Twisted Metal, but I didn't do it in time, so but I don't know, I think I just did it because, and I also started it on stream, so I was like, I'm gonna end it on stream. We're just gonna do it all at once. That was the most interesting decision of my life. I don't know if you were there for that, Waves, but
yeah, I remember you streaming that. It was just you killing Slickle and Bipple and who else?
all the alts all day.
All the alts, yeah.
It was just that night that I decided to do it was just like the weirdest thing, because I kept telling, there was like a weird thing with the server shutdown where like they said it was going to shut down on a certain day, and then like a few days later they were saying like, nah, we're not doing that, we're going to shut it down like at the end of this week, and people were complaining. And I kept telling everyone, I was like, man, if they end up changing the date, like I'll actually go for it. And then they officially came out and were like, we were actually like lying, we're gonna do it on the date that we originally said. Then I started on stream that night. So, but yeah, there's like a bunch of like games that were like, I don't know, like just like stupid multiplayers that I've done that like people just wouldn't do, and I still have a lot more that I want to do. Like one that I'm thinking about, another one I'm thinking about is like Kane and Lynch 2.
I thought you already had that one done.
I have the multiplayer done, but I don't have the platinum yet. But that's just one where it's like, I would do it all over again if I had the people. And I think that's a big like part of it as well, is if you have the people to do it, it makes it like a little less stressful. Because you don't have to worry about organizing stuff, and you know the people that you're playing with, so it can be more enjoyable.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's why we've been playing like a bunch of games together. But yeah, that's basically what I've been playing this week. What have you been playing, Wave?
I don't know. It's freezing to death, like something to play.
Well, did you die?
I felt like a part of me died.
Well, you didn't get.
He was collecting blankets.
He didn't get
I was
wasted.
collecting
so.
blankets. The collecties for last week was blankets.
Did you make a guide of all their locations?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as y'all know, I wasn't able to come to last week's podcast because I didn't have power for 4 days. Because Texas literally froze over for the first time ever.
That shit's crazy.
Yeah, no. My house is still, like, fucked from that. Like, we still have, like, tubes that are, like, frozen that we can't use yet. Not tubes, but, like, plumbing that's, like, frozen that we can't use yet.
Mm-hmm, pipes.
Yeah.
There's one of our pipes burst one day. It was, like, an easy fix, thankfully. It was just not a good week. I didn't have power for 4 days. So the only way I get like contact with you guys is if I charge my phone at my car.
Yeah, he was keeping us updated though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when I finally got power, I got sick.
Yeah. Just how it works, I guess.
It was just not a good week. So I guess I'll do games I played for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, you can fill us in.
I played where is it? Let me pull it up. I forget the last time that I did the podcast. Did I talk about Resident Evil 3?
I think
like
so.
I
Wait,
did.
what day would do what? Hold on, we can look at when you get the platinum, and then so
Oh, yeah, it was on
February
the
6th. So yes, you would have talked about it.
Yeah. So I guess the only real games is I started Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight, which isn't annoying. It just takes a while because you gotta do like a bunch of very specific like stuff in every song, and I don't know what it is about me, but I don't know if it's like I get anxious or something, but just having that much shit like thrown at you at once, like the amount of colors or whatever, I just get overwhelmed. So my brain just like stops working.
Fair enough.
So I'm like having a hard time like finishing some songs on like hard mode.
So needless to say, you don't want to play Rock Band at any point?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I do have Rock Band. I think I have Rock Band 2 on my account. Let me see. Yeah, I have Rock Band 2 on my account with 2 trophies.
Yeah, when we playing?
Hell no.
What you mean?
Man, you're being selfish.
Dude, you completed a trophy for deploying vocal overdrive 4 times in one song, so you were singing.
You wanna buy every like
peripheral
thing for me? The only peripheral I have is fucking the mic still.
Well, that's because you can get that for like 2 cents. I'm gonna look it up right now. So like if you I'll look up like Guitar Hero. So Guitar Hero, guitar.
But I got that though. Not that done. I played Persona 5, dancing, and I started playing Kingdom Hearts again.
Nice.
Because I think I started like in 2019, and then I think school came up, so then I stopped playing. But yeah, that's about it. Other than like freezing to death, you know.
Yeah, I think that was probably your main concern, was not freezing to death, which is what you should be worried about.
And this week I'm not gonna like be able to play that much either.
Yeah, because of school.
Yeah, I gotta do 2 weeks worth of work in 1 week.
So you're gonna be living off energy drinks?
Yep.
Basically, I drink a bang tonight, so we can not weekend, but so I can stay up after this podcast.
I was gonna say, I'm going to bed after this. I gotta work in the morning.
I may do my dailies in Marvels, but I'm gonna hop off too. But no, so Waves, I'm looking at like guitars for like Rock Band and shit. Like,
yeah,
they sell, like, it's crazy how expensive they are, but like they sell the guitars, like just the guitar without like a dongle, so basically you can't even use it, like $50-$60 on eBay.
Jesus Christ.
Like if you want one with a dongle, you have to pay like over $100. It's fucking crazy how expensive like Guitar Hero and Rock Band guitars are. Not Guitar Hero live guitars, there's plenty of those, but the older like Guitar Hero and Rock Band shit is like so fucking expensive. I went on a little trip about a year ago to try to find all that shit, and it was interesting.
Yeah, I remember that. You got that one, was it a guitar or drum set that had like the fucked up USB?
Yeah, that lady sold me that Rock
like
Band 2 drum set with the USB that looked like it was sitting in acid for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was really bad.
I guess I could talk about my experience in the frozen wasteland of Texas.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Let us know what it's like on the front lines.
It was so fucking cold, dude. Like, it's kind of ridiculous how bad everything was. First of all, it was like supposed to be rolling blackouts. So it was supposed to be like 50-minute blackouts every like hour or whatever.
You're talking like power, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like my power was only supposed to be gone for like 50 minutes. Right at like, I want to say Saturday, so the 13th. Right at midnight. Not midnight, but like at 3 a.m. of that night, I lost power. And I was like, oh, okay, it's probably just for a little bit. It did not come on after that day until like Wednesday.
Damn. And it's crazy because it's not even like it's not even like the summer where like you wouldn't even like notice if the power went out.
Yeah.
Like I read, and like you even said, like there was people that were like freezing to death from it. From everything that was happening. That's fucking wild.
In my home city, they gave permission to cops to go inside of houses where no one was responding because there were people literally frozen to death inside their houses. Or like there were some people that got carbon monoxide poisoning because they thought they had a great idea of leaving their stove on the entire day if they had like a gas stove.
Jesus. No, that's when you turn the oven on and just leave it open a little bit. That's honestly how people will heat, like, people that don't have like a lot of money will heat their house sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, if you have like a gas stove, like it's easier to do that and cheaper than to like run like a little like heater unit or something.
Yeah.
I know, like, the whole meme of like, oh, look at the Texan crying about the cold or whatever, and like that's true to a certain point when there's like power and everything, and we go outside and we complain about like a little chilly wind or whatever. But we literally had no power for days. So like, imagine how cold it gets up there with you guys, and you have no power to like heat yourself up with.
I'm still in shorts, so.
True. I wear shorts like all year round.
I guess. But like, you guys are like used to it.
Yeah.
You know, like the coldest it gets here is usually like 30 degrees. The one night where it got to like -3 degrees, that's like the first time I ever experienced anything below 0. And I had no power. I had like 3 blankets I could use. I was like covered in fucking like jackets and everything. Our plumbing got fucking destroyed by the cold. We had like no hot water, and then then the water plant, their generators froze, so they stopped working. So then we had to boil our water.
God damn.
We couldn't shower, or else we would have gotten cholera from the water getting inside our mouth and our eyes and our nose. It was a fucking mess, to say the least.
Yeah, it snowed. It's been snowing like every like few days where I am. The one day it snowed, I went outside to shovel the driveway. I literally walked outside for like my plan wasn't to shovel the driveway. I was just gonna walk outside for a second and do something, and I was like, no, I'll do it. And I was literally wearing shorts and a sweatshirt shoveling the driveway while it's snowing.
Yeah, but you guys are used to that type of weather is like the thing, right? Because you guys have to worry about snow every year.
Yeah, like I mean, Brian's like worse off than I am, but like, yeah, I get snow and I'm pretty like, like the cold doesn't like really bother me at all. I mean, unless it's like super cold and the air is like super fucking dry, it's an issue. But I don't mind like a little bit of cold. I honestly will keep my bedroom window open sometimes in the winter just to like cool my room down.
Well, shit, I sent you, when you're having all the weather waves, I sent you a picture of like how much snow I have.
Yeah.
And I'm like, alright, well, today I got out of work 7:30 at night. It's 36 degrees outside. I'm like, man, it's like spring. I'm in a hoodie and shorts. I'm like, I got in my car. I drove with the window halfway down the whole way home. I was enjoying it. It was so warm out.
Yeah, no, our shit went to like -2 for like 2 days, I think. It was just not good.
Well, we were burning at like -7 for like the last 2 weeks. So.
I definitely get it for like people who aren't used to the weather, because like it's kind of like the same thing when like a bunch of heat comes through here. Like the second it goes over like 90 or like even close to 100, I'm just like, fuck, I can't deal with this.
Yeah, see, I would be used to that, because like in the summer we get up to like almost 110 degrees.
Yeah, see, I couldn't. I don't know if I could deal with that.
No.
But
for me, anything when it's super cold, it's anything below 30 degrees.
Yeah, I'm like Brian. Like if it's above freezing in the winter, like I'm like, oh, this shit's kind of nice.
Right. Once it gets like -5, I'm like, all right, it's actually kind of cold. I maybe should wear my pants, but I'm not.
Yeah, I was like actually gonna legitimately go out the other day with like shorts on. I was going to like walk out the door, and my mom's like, "You're actually gonna wear that?" And I was like, I guess you're right. I should probably put some sweatpants on."
I think like the other thing that like fucks Texas like during this is that Texas is on its own power grid.
Yeah.
ERCOT or whatever. So, like, all of Texas got hit by, like, the wave, the cold wave, or whatever you want to call it. So, literally nothing was making power. Like, if you guys get hit by, like, something hard, you can, like, siphon off power from, like, other states or whatever. The entirety of Texas, it was funny, like, I saw a picture, the entirety of Texas was under a winter warning storm alert or whatever, which I've never seen in Texas happen.
Yeah, there was a bunch of people that were, like, I guess kind of complaining about that. Because they were trying to say, like, oh, if they were regulated, it would have been a problem. Nah, like, Texas got hit with, like, just an abnormal event that, like, doesn't matter if it was regulated by or they're on their own power grid. Like, they got fucking slammed. Just admit that.
Yeah. Then, I don't know. Do you see, like, the videos of, like, people's fishes? They, like, froze inside their houses.
No, but that, I mean...
Yeah,
shit is crazy, like, dude.
It fucking froze inside their house. Like, for me, any water that we had in the kitchen, well, any water that we had outside, not outside, but just, like, inside the house, froze.
Damn.
Like, there was, like, a bowl in the kitchen. We couldn't wash our dishes either. We had a bowl in the kitchen that had, like, clean water. That water froze. So, like, the way we had to heat it up was we had to turn on a candle and, like, place it on top of the candle because we didn't have any light.
Damn, Texas was struggling.
Yeah.
I hope that shit doesn't come around anytime soon. Again.
We're still, like, dealing with plumbing issues. My house is, like, kind of okay now. It's just one sink that's still frozen. I don't know when it's, like, gonna unfreeze. But, like, my neighbor's house, their entire plumbing is just fucked. They need to, like, change their entire plumbing.
That's expensive.
Another one that, like, lives near me, they left to go to their friend's house or whatever. Their plumbing also got fucked. And for them, it got worse because it got inside the house and it froze inside the house.
Oh.
But yeah, it's... I guess I'll end it there. It's fucked.
Well, prayers out to Waves to recover from this horrible event.
Yeah, send me some money so I can buy some Need for Speed DLC.
Yeah,
hold on, let me get my money back from Fiverr real quick.
that'll make everything better.
But wait, back to the games for a second. Can I request something?
Sure.
Can we get a new fucking Guitar Hero, man? And can we go back to the old school Guitar Hero controller? Like, I never understood why like Guitar Hero died.
Because I think there was 1 year where literally 3 Guitar Hero games came out.
Well, yeah, that's a little excessive. Don't get me wrong. I think that they could run in the route of like once a year, but like, or even like once every like other year or every 3 years and do like DLC. But like, it's like that went from being like one of the top grossing like franchises to like dead in the span of like under 10 years.
Well, I think it's just because the whole craze died out. I don't think there's like that many people that care about it anymore.
There's still big communities. There's still, I mean, people don't play Guitar Hero because there aren't any new ones, but like there's a huge community of people that play like a game called Clone Hero, which is basically like Guitar Hero. And they like, there's still a huge community of people that like would actually play it, I think, if it came out. The problem is when they released Guitar Hero Live, they tried to like transform it, and it like no one liked the new guitar that they made. But like I feel like if they made a Guitar Hero and went back to like the old school days, like it wouldn't be bad. I mean, I can't see that those games are like too crazy to develop from like a price standpoint, but they probably suck from like a what am I thinking? From like a legal standpoint to get like songs and stuff in the games, like that probably costs so much money. But
don't know.
That's my request. Guitar Hero.
I'd want Activision to bring back a lot of things.
Yeah, they're really slacking, dude. I was playing when I got the Star Wars Platinum like a while back, since I was like published by Activision, it did like the old school Activision boot up, and I was like, damn, remember when that was the boot up? And like you knew when that shit was booting up, you're about to play a fire ass game. Like those were the good old days.
I miss a lot of like the old boot ups, like the old Konami boot up where it was like ding 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 ding, that, and then remember the old Ubisoft like logo.
Oh, I miss the old like the like Assassin's Creed 2 boot up.
Yeah,
the old logo and everything. Now that like every time a new game comes out, they have their logo, but they change like what's around it, and it's like, come on, can we just keep it consistent with the same like animations and noises? Like, stop trying to get fancy.
I like how when Ubisoft came out with their new logo, everybody was like, it's just a pile of shit, like literal pile of shit if you look at it from the top or whatever.
Hold on, I gotta look at this now.
Oh, you didn't see that?
Well, I never looked at it that way, but I'm gonna go look at it and see what you're talking about.
Here, let me see if I can.
Oh yeah, I could see how people could say it's a pile of shit from the top now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, I mean, old boot ups, they were the shit, but you know, we can't live in the past. We gotta move to the future.
Remember the old PS3 boot up?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that one way more than the orchestra, like starting or whatever. It was just like the bling or whatever.
Yeah. I think I talked about it one week, but like I think it's crazy. Like now that you can like change your theme on like the PS4 and the PS5 too, I'm assuming. Do they have themes?
No, you can't change it on the 5.
That's fucking retarded. But anyway, like on the PS4, like you can change the theme and it changes, like, for instance, if you use like the legacy theme, it like changes like the boot up sounds and everything. And like at first it's like, oh, that's cool. And then you think about it for a second, like down the line, and you're like, wait, but like the OG is like so iconic. Like I don't want to change it.
I like there's like the PS1 one also where it does like the PS1 like startup screen, and then the legacy does like the PS2 one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wonder why they never did a PS3 one. I guess it's just like an orchestra starting, but
yeah, because they don't like the PS3. That's why. The PS3...
It makes sense why the PS5 doesn't have a theme thing, because like whenever you go on top of whenever you go on like a game or whatever, it changes the entire background to like the picture of that game, and if it has the music, it plays like the music from that game.
Yeah, which is kind of like how the PS4 was, except you had to go down. It didn't just do it when you were like hovering over it, but
yeah. I
mean, I guess what I'm trying to get at is like the OG themes are like iconic, like after you think about it. Like when you're like, I guess it's nostalgia. You look back at it and you're like, damn, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, the PS3 had like the coolest themes because you could go online and like download themes.
Yeah, they don't let you do anything like that anymore. They take all your freedoms away.
Well, the 5 doesn't even have the browser anymore.
Damn, how can I go on the hub then, man? What the hell?
There's like a workaround apparently where if you go to sign into your Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you can go to the URL and shit.
Well, you can't go to the URL. You can only go on you can click on like the Twitter icon, and that'll bring you to like the Twitter login page, and then you can like only fuck around on the Twitter page. And if there is a hub link on your Twitter front page, then you can go to the hub. Yeah, but you can't like go in the URL and type in the hub.
That's actually kind of funny. I guess I gotta pull the Vita out to go on the hub now. That's the only reason I have it anymore.
I forget which year. I think it was like 2 years ago. The hub like put out their statistics for who watches like the most porn or whatever.
Oh, like what? Like OS or whatever?
Yeah, like which game system, and like the Vita was like number 2.
What was number 1? Like an iPhone or something?
I think it was a PS4.
Yo, little Timmy said, "Mom, I need a PS4, please."
I think like I think it was Nintendo DS with like 3% or something like that.
What?
Yeah,
that's just literally like 64-bit, bro. You can't see a damn thing. What? That's crazy, man. People wild. Shit.
I guess with that, we'll go to our next topic.
Wait, before we go, you want to know why the PS4 was so high?
Because you can use the VR.
Exactly. That's why the PS4 was so high. People were hooking their VR up to that thing. All right, we can move to the next topic now. Let's get off the hub.
Okay. Did y'all pick up anything for this week?
I picked up MLB The Show 20 and Anthem.
I did pick up a few games. I picked up I'm going back a little bit because I gotta take a look. I picked up MLB The Show 19 and 20 because they were both on sale. Because Brian and I are gonna be doing MLB 17 and up. And then I also picked up. Should I say it or should I keep it a secret?
Keep it a secret.
All right, I picked up a secret game that I'm gonna do on stream at some point. A secret sleeper game. And then I also picked up, since it was like $15, I picked up WRC 8 as well.
At some point, meaning 3 years from now.
No, come on. Listen, okay? So I'm gonna take the franchise rotation, and it's gonna be evolved the next time I do something. And instead of doing franchises, I'm gonna do like, for instance, genres. The first one I'm going to do is like genres. So I'm going to do Soulsborne games. So I'm going to do all types of like Soulsborne games, and that's going to be the rotation.
Does that mean you're going to do Lords of the Fallen?
Yeah.
Yucky.
Any like Soulsborne game that I think is like, I'm not going to do obviously all of them, but like any that I find like interesting, I'm going to be doing. But I don't know when I'm going to do that. I mean, that could be like it could be a year from now. Who the fuck knows? But like, it is going to be something that I want to add in, not just doing like the franchises, but like also doing like types of games as well. But
I didn't pick up anything. But I guess not today, in the 1 hour today, it'll be, I'll be picking up Persona 5 Strikers.
Nice. Oh, that does come out today?
It comes out on the 23rd, so like in an hour. Okay. If you bought like the digital deluxe edition, you could get the game like 4 days early or something like that. I wanted the case, so not the case, but I wanted the physical copy, so I got it at Best Buy so I can get the steelbook also.
Dude, everyone just talks about like Persona so much, and I don't know, man.
What's wrong with Persona?
I'm not saying anything. I don't know. Like, it just doesn't look like a game. It doesn't interest me from the outside.
I mean, if you're not into like JRPGs and like that kind of stuff, you're not gonna get into it.
No, I think that's why it doesn't interest me. Is I'm not like, that's not my type of game.
Strikers is like different.
Oh, it's different? It plays different?
Yeah, because it plays more like a Dynasty Warriors games, because I think it's literally made by the same people.
Okay.
That make Dynasty Warriors. But
yeah.
There's still like that Persona kind of stuff in it, where it's like, I think there's still social links, so you still gotta like build your friendships and all that jazz.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember a while back I put like a thing out, I don't know if it was on Twitter or something, but I was like, oh, I really want to like invest myself in like a good like series of like RPG series, like something like, I don't know, like Dragon Age or Mass Effect or something. And people were saying to do Mass Effect, to do like one that I got a lot of was like doing like Kingdom Hearts, like getting into Kingdom Hearts. So
Kingdom Hearts is dank.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I would love to do it. That's another game that like I would love to add to like the rotation, because I have like all the PS3 and PS4 ones, so still got what's the one? Is it Kingdom Hearts 3? Still got that bitch wrapped up, the special edition.
With all your other wrapped up games.
Yup. Mm-hmm.
Still got Zombie Army 4 over there in the wrap.
Hell yeah, we're gonna do it one day.
If you actually like want to start it, like start one, I'd say start with like P5 Royal. I feel like that one's like the most friendly, like noob friendly, I guess, compared to all the other ones.
Yeah, I mean, I think like if I would get into like some sort of like RPG game, I would want to get into something that like isn't. I don't want something that's going to be like super. I don't want to say time consuming because I don't care about that, but I don't want to play something where like you have to be like super invested into like what's happening, which I know like that's the point of like an RPG, but like I guess what I'm trying to say is like a good example would be like The Witcher 3. I would love to play The Witcher 3 one day, but the problem with The Witcher 3 is if you put that game down for like a week, you fucking forget everything about the game. You like have to play it. Like you can't play anything else. You have to play that game, I feel like, back to back until you get it done.
Yeah, that's for sure true with The Witcher. I know if you're talking about story wise, I guess. I know there's in Persona, there's what's it called? A thing in the game that gives you like a brief overview of where you left off and all that. For if that ever happens. And then like Persona games like honestly are super easy to get. Like they're like not hard to like play, I guess. Like you will have your moments where like, oh, you're too under leveled or whatever. Actually, I won't even say you'd have those moments. Like Persona 5 Royal, I was like over leveled most of the time. And I think like the only one where you'll have like an issue like that is Persona 4. But I've never really found like it's not like Final Fantasy 7 where you have to like worry about your materials and your stats that much, all that.
Yeah.
If you just like learn weaknesses, which like the game pretty much tells you, obviously like what the weaknesses are, and then eventually you'll just start learning, like if they have wings and they fly, if they're like flying, quote unquote, you'll usually know that is that means that they're weak to your gun, so you can just shoot them with your gun and then do an all-out attack and all that jazz. So it's not like, I wouldn't really say Persona is like a hard RPG where like, because I know there's some RPGs where you gotta really get invested into the stats and like building like the best like character. Pokemon or whatever, best character.
Yeah, I mean,
all that jazz.
I think that's kind of how The Witcher is. Like, you have to, when you're playing on the hardest difficulty, you have to pay attention to like what sword you're using and what type of like powers you're using on what enemies, and like even like there's even games
like oils,
like
and
even
all
like
that jazz.
It's shitty to like, I mean, I'm gonna bring it up, whatever. Like Marvel's Avengers has like, it's not RPG, but like it has like aspects of that where like some characters will have like frost shields or something, so you don't do like damage unless you have like something that does like damage against that. So like stuff like that, I feel like is kind of just like, it's not a pain, it just adds like another level of like, I wouldn't even say difficulty, it's just like another level of like paying attention.
Yeah. That
you have to like account for. But I think that that's why like I would want to do something like Kingdom Hearts definitely intrigues me. Because another thing that I'm not a huge fan of is like, I don't know about you guys, but like I'm not a huge fan of like turn-based combat.
I'm fine with it.
But
I'm okay with it.
To be fair, I haven't played a turn-based combat game in like a long time. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure I would be fine with it if I played it. But I've been thinking about like some big games, like I said, like, or big franchise like Kingdom Hearts, Mass Effect, like things like that. I would love to play like the Dragon Age games at some point. So
Kingdom Hearts is dank, especially like Kingdom Hearts 2. 2 is like one of like the top 10 like action games or like hack and slashes, whatever you want to call them. In my opinion. Because you can just do some crazy shit in that game.
Yeah.
I remember when it first came out, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I think what's crazy about that game is it came out in 2006 or something. Right when like the PS3 came out or something like that.
That's crazy.
What, 2?
I think so.
No, I thought 2 was on Was it on the 3?
No, it was on the... Well, like came out on the 3, like, in 2013.
Yeah, they did like a collection on the 3 that came with like 1 and 2, and then you had to buy another disc that came with like all the other ones, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
But like the original came out on PS2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then everyone was complaining because they took so long in between, but whatever. I'm kind of like a sucker for like Disney stuff as well, so.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's why I would also like Kingdom Hearts. It's not like fully, but like, you know, it like incorporates that into it. So, which surprises me that like Disney was still like okay with doing like Kingdom Hearts 3, because they make a comment like a few years ago that was like, yeah, we're not interested in video games anymore.
I think that's why 3 like didn't get made, but that doesn't make sense to me because they were still making like DS games and phone games without like an issue. So I don't know.
Dude, Disney, like, they confused me because like in the mid like 2000s, I guess more like late 2000s, they were making games like Split Second and like pure like racing games, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, no wonder
like
you fucking hated making games. Like, you were making the most like obscure, like, they're both great games, but they probably didn't sell for shit.
Well, Disney's weird because when they had a record label, and I think they still do, they had Insane Clown Posse signed to their label.
Disney's just weird because like you forget how much they own.
That's
like,
true.
They own ABC.
They own like 60% of the networks, don't they, or something?
Yeah, something like that. And like now they own Aliens, like the Alien franchise in general.
Fox, right?
Yeah.
They own Star Wars.
Marvel.
Yeah.
Marvel, yup. Sheesh.
How the fuck is that not a monopoly?
It's crazy.
I don't know. I mean, I guess
they
like
own ESPN
IPs
also.
aren't really like being a like owning like IPs isn't really like a monopoly. Now, if they own like 80% of like the TVs, like the TV networking, it could be.
I don't know. They own like 0.5% of like TV networks. That I feel like that's kind of monopoly-ish.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I wouldn't disagree with that. But yeah,
they own ESPN also, I think.
They own what?
ESPN.
Yeah, I think they do. Yep. They basically own like all the sports stuff.
They own Hulu also. And on top of that, Disney Plus.
They own Hulu? I didn't know that.
I think so. That's why they have like that bundle with Disney Plus where it's Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus.
That's crazy to think about now. Holy shit.
That's why, like, if there is rated R stuff, you won't find them on Disney Plus, but you will find them on Hulu. So, like, Alien is going to be on Hulu, and like Deadpool, I think, is on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
But those you won't find on Disney Plus since it's supposed to be like a non-rated R place.
Yeah, we got to keep it friendly for the kids, you know.
Yeah. Even though they got X-Men Origins in there, but yeah, it's crazy once you actually like sit down and think about like how much they own.
Yeah, and then they get stingy with we don't want to make games because they're not profitable. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but at least we got LucasArts back in a way with Lucasfilm Games.
Yeah, bless up. I mean, I don't know if they'll have the amount of freedom that they used to have, but
we'll see.
At least we'll be getting Star Wars games that aren't from EA, just from EA.
Kind of sucks. I know Disney's like super like controlling of their IPs also, because like that's why like I guess like with Marvel and like Lucasfilm Games stuff, it's like they're not really gonna give them like the freedom to just do shit. Like I don't know if we'll ever really get like a Force Unleashed type game again or whatever.
Well, I think that when they do it, they're more worried about. Well, they're obviously worried about their canon side of it. I mean, and I think that the thought is that like you can't make a game that's not canon. Like anything that comes out has to be canon is like their thought process. Where like when they made Force Unleashed 1 and 2, like if you think about it, do those games make sense from a timeline perspective? No, not really. I mean, they do, but like, would that really happen? I don't fucking think so. And like
I think they were considered canon because George Lucas like had like an actual say in it.
Yeah, but like when you think about it, like you think about could this event happen? Yes, but the thing is that the game offers like light and dark side options. So like if you pick one option, when you go to play the second game, it could not add up with the option that you pick. So then like you're almost making the story as you're going along.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
So like it's like, well, what do you consider canon and not canon? And like at the time, like I don't think George Lucas or like LucasArts cared about that, but like I think that's Disney's standpoint is like anything that's put out has to be canon. Like there's no option of it being not canon. So they literally have to like approve everything that happens because they need to determine if it's like canon, if it can be considered canon or not.
Yeah, I think with the Marvel game stuff, aren't they like trying to make like a whole universe also?
Yeah.
I think there isn't like the Avengers and the Sony Spider-Man games, aren't they like in the same universe or whatever?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
that's gonna make it even like worse.
Yeah. I mean, I get where they're coming from because like you have to have some sort of like ability to tie everything in, but like you could make a game like whatever you want to as long as it's fun. And like at the beginning of it, like they could literally have like a message like for a Star Wars game that says like this story is like not considered canon or is like, you know what I mean? Like they could have an error, like a message before that pops up that basically is saying like, it's not canon. We just made this shit for fun. But I don't know if that would like ever be allowed. So
yeah.
But we can move on to the next best topic ever.
Yeah, Snuckle, tell us about your favorite topic.
My favorite topic, the server shutdowns. So, something actually did get added to this. So, we still have on March 11th Frozen Synopsis Prime getting shut down. Now, I did look into this game the other day, and I'm not going to do it. Mainly because it's like it looks like it's like an RTS, and I'm not interested in that. So, yeah. But that's
like a tactics type game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just it doesn't look like interesting to play. If you want me to be completely honest, it kind of looks like dog shit. But I mean, it's probably someone's favorite game, so I apologize. But a game that got added at the beginning of this week was Games of Glory, which is going to be going down on March 26th of 2021. Now, people have been talking that this game has been having server issues as well. I don't know what it is. It's just a 100%. It doesn't have a platinum. So I don't know what it plays like. All the trophies, like a majority of the trophies are sub 1%. One of them is a 0.05%. Only 9 people have earned it. So, I mean, I don't know if that's something you want to do, but yeah, that's apparently going down on March 26th now. And then we have WWE 2K20 going down on May 31st, and then Switchblade going down on June 1st, and then NBA 2K20 going down on December 31st. There's a note for Switchblade that it may not actually go down on June 1st, but if you're going to do it, do it. But that's all I have for server shutdown news.
I wonder if anyone's actually playing that like Switchblade game.
I don't know, man. It's crazy. Like it's crazy to think about all those types of games that are out. Like the only game that I did like that was like Loadout. Just like a free multiplayer. And every time I look at these games, I'm like, they're probably free. They're probably dog shit. Like it's like another one is like Hawken, I think is what it's called. It's like another like free like mech game or something.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's so many of them. I don't know what they're trying to do, man. I don't get like you making a free game. What are you trying to sell, like a few DLCs to people or like a few currencies to people or something? Like people don't. I mean, I guess people care about that shit, but like No wonder they shut down so fast. They're like, oh fuck, our business plan didn't work.
I always wonder about like what happens to these games that just like get released on the store and like nobody finds out about them, and they just like die without anyone ever having played them. Because like, just imagine, like we all know about like when the big AAA games are coming out, but just like imagine because there's like 1,000 games getting uploaded every week. I feel.
Oh, there's a bunch. I mean, and it comes down to, I mean, it comes down to marketing. Like they can't afford the marketing, and like someone that like I talked to about that is like Eli from Treefall Studios. Like he's the same way. Like he makes games and they get put up, but like you wouldn't know about it because he doesn't pay like marketing to get games marketed on like the store, or like you wouldn't. That would be ridiculous for him to do that because it wouldn't like provide the return. So, and I think he's even stated before, like he doesn't have like a marketing budget because he just can't afford it with the games that he's putting out. So the way that he markets his game, like his marketing budget is giving people free copies and hoping that the people will kind of like tell people about it more or less.
Yeah.
But it does suck because like a lot of these people like dump their hearts into it, I feel like, and just because you don't have a little money laying around, you can't pay for marketing and stuff. And meanwhile, EA and Ubisoft and Activision are over here running, 30-minute ads on primetime TV that probably cost billions of dollars, and they're rolling in money at the end of the day.
I just wonder if like there's any games that have been like delisted that like nobody knows about, that nobody played or whatever,
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's
because like even especially like back in the 80s or whatever, there's like games from like the 80s and the 70s that no one will ever be able to play just because like they're just lost to time. Like people just lost the code and lost the cartridges got destroyed. And like I wonder about that with like random like I don't know if y'all remember this, but like there used to be like this initiative called PlayStation Mobile, and you could download it on your phone, and it was just Sony selling like mobile phone games basically on your phone or on your Vita, and like that shit's just gone, and like any game that was on there that wasn't released on something else is just gone. And we'll probably like never be able to like play them again.
That's just crazy, and people like put their time into it, and it just disappeared, gone. The crazy thing about like these games is like a majority of these games that randomly go down, like for instance, like Frozen Synopsis and like all these games that we just talked about. I literally never hear about them until they go down. I've never heard of Frozen Synopsis. I've never heard of Games of Glory. I've never heard of Switchblade. But if you go to Games of Glory, like this game has like 7. This is blowing my mind. This game has 16,500 game owners. But a game like I don't know. Let's take a look. A game that I recently did, Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, only has 2,500. Like you have Star Wars. Like this is blowing my mind that like you have Star Wars, like one of the most known franchises and IPs, has 2,500 game owners for a game that has a platinum with like no multiplayer, and then you have a game that's like strictly multiplayer that has like 7 times the amount of game owners, probably because it was free. But like,
I was gonna say,
Jesus, that's crazy. That's crazy.
There's also that like weird group of people that when they see like old graphics or whatever, they're like, "Oh no, I can't play that."
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. If it's not up to like 4K 60 frames, I can't play this. This is dog shit, man. I can't play this. My eyes hurt.
Yeah.
But you want to know what's crazy, Waves? You talk about all that like games getting lost. The sad thing is, a game that has multiplayer will probably never get lost anymore because there's always one person. There's always one person that's playing these things. And then they put it up on these servers. Like, who the hell is playing this game? It has 15 recent players, probably because people said the servers were getting shut down, and now it's like a big thing.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
I guess I was thinking more about like PS3 era, I guess.
Yeah.
Because like I remember like the PlayStation Minis or whatever.
Yep.
They never had trophies, but like there were like mobile games you could play on your PS3 or your PSP back then. And then I just wonder like how many games just got lost to time. Like in that era when like people like we still kind of understood the internet, but we also didn't understand it.
It was still kind of newish.
Yeah,
and I think it's gonna get like I think that's gonna get worse as time goes on, just because of the amount of games that are being released just digitally.
Yeah,
because like so much shit can get lost like in the digital space, and just be like vanish like that. Especially if like Sony's controlling it, they can just this is off the store. See ya. Never happened.
Yeah. Well, like the Right to Hell like DLC.
Yeah,
like unless you owned it, like you're never gonna get it. There's no way you can get it now.
Unless you had a code, you couldn't get it, which like I don't understand that. But yeah, that's like a good example. But
it's just crazy to think about.
Yeah. But if a game's multiplayer is ever gonna shut down, trust me, somebody knows about it.
Yeah,
doesn't matter
definitely.
how obscure it is, somebody knows about it. Because it's someone's favorite game.
I guess we can go to our next topic.
Yeah, we can get into the meat now.
Or after our 1 hour and 21 minute intro.
It gets longer and longer every week.
We're gonna break that like 3 hour mark soon.
Nah, chill. Listen, Brian and I got in. We did the one last week without you, and I don't even remember how far in we were. And then it ended, and I was like, I literally like I don't know. I had like PTSD. I was like, wait, how the fuck did the intro go for like over an hour? And it was just the two of us. And Brian was like, oh, I mentioned a topic, and we both started ranting. And I was like, geez, man, how did we get here?
That's how
we went from about DLC, and that took a left field, and we never stopped after that.
I feel like that's how all like I feel like that's how it always like goes overboard or whatever. One of us eventually like starts rambling about something or ranting about something.
Yeah.
And then Sniggle got me to actually put on a rant, which is even funnier.
Yeah, Brian actually ranted. I mean, it's good though. Like, I feel like it's a good conversation to have, and like it doesn't feel like we obviously write like the topics we're gonna talk about, but like I can't write a topic for like Waves goes on rant about Texas having shit weather. Like, I can't go on a rant about that. Like, I can't write that on the script to write it, like, to talk about. It just happens.
Yeah, if I'm caffeinated properly, then I'm good to go.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, I think one time we just went on a rant about fucking game compression.
Yeah, the most, like, random shit to talk about. But, I mean, it's fun to do.
Like, I guess, like, right now, we literally just talked about, like, I guess, game preservation or whatever.
Yeah. Game preservation and games getting lost in the digital space.
Yeah.
By the way, if anyone's got a code to Ride to Hell Retribution, hit your boy up.
You know what's that? I just thought about this game. There's that one game that's, like, $1,000 or whatever. It's, like, something poop or whatever. That game only got released, like, not digital. Physical, and they only made, like, 2 copies, I think.
Huh?
It's like a PS4 game.
What's it called?
It's like, I forget, it's like something poop.
Poop Slinger?
Is it that one?
No.
Yeah, it's Poop Slinger.
It only has 200 game owners.
This game's like $500 or something like that.
Is it only physical?
I guess physical.
I'm looking it up real quick. Oh my god, yeah, it is. What the hell? Oh, so you can buy it. You can buy it digitally, but the physical version, I guess it was one of those like limited time releases or whatever. Yeah, I remember hearing about this now that we're talking about it. I do remember this coming out and hearing about it.
Yeah, this is like, I guess that's not a good like thing to what we were talking about, but
no, but I mean, like, that's a good example of like physical. That's why I like collecting games. They only made 1,000 copies of these. When Poop Slinger went on sale April 1st, 2019 for $34, things immediately started looking bad for limited rare games. I mean, that's like when what am I thinking? Gravity Rush Remastered came out on it got the remaster release on the PS4 from Amazon.
oh yeah.
And like you could buy it for like $20 or $30 when it came out, and now it's like over $100.
Yeah.
Because like no one bought it.
I wish I had gotten it because I remember seeing it at GameStop for like $20.
Yeah, that's
And I was like, I already own it on the Vita. Why would I buy it again?
Yeah,
that was dumb.
That's a game that like, yeah. Well, the game that I was thinking about, which is, I guess it's technically not the game, it's more peripherals, but you know, Verzoom.
No.
So there's a game, it's called Verzoom, and it's on the PS4. It's one of the like rarest games like for completion. If you go to like games and then hard games, it's number 3. And the reason why is because to play it, you have to buy, like, they have a bike. It's like a bike riding simulation game.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to use like their bike. It's not like you can like buy like a bike and like hook stuff up to it to like make, like, you have to buy like their specific bike for like $500 or something.
Jesus.
And I'm assuming that like you can't buy the bike anymore, so like it's now like secondhand collectors. It's probably like, I'm gonna look if I can find one on like eBay or something.
It's literally all fucking bronze trophies. That's crazy.
Yeah, see, like, I don't even think anyone sells it. Like, that's the crazy part. But yeah, like, you can't. And not only is it that, but like, if you look at the trophies for it, you have to do. Where is it? You have to bike from Boston to New York City. Or like cycle the length of Route 66 or cycle from New York to LA. Like, it's fucking crazy. But yeah, that's like another one. But that's not really the game. That's more the like the peripheral that you need for it. So
that's insane.
I forgot about this Poop Slinger game though.
I guess we can go to the actual topic.
Yeah, let's get to the actual topic now. Sorry. We're just sitting here in awe.
I guess you can go about this one, Brian, if you want.
Diablo 2 Resurrected got announced.
When was that, the weekend? Over the weekend?
Yeah, it was during BlizzCon. Is it just
so?
Oh no, it's PS5.
I'm kind of actually interested in this. I don't think I'll pick it up day one. Maybe I'll pick it up when it hits the sale. But I would like to actually play it.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be.
Well, you guys know, from the local village, guy, Diablo is a very underrated game. So
yeah,
or franchise, I should say.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So,
I remember playing Diablo 2 so much on PC when I was younger, so that's why I'm kind of excited about this. I would really love to see if it has a trophy list. It might.
I mean, it's definitely gonna have one.
Yeah.
It's coming out on PS5 and PS4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I would like to get it.
Yeah, I would like to get it as well. I'd also like to play like Diablo 3. I think that's another game that I've neglected.
Yeah, same.
But
I can't wait for this to come out and to just see people complain about it. Oh god, my ears.
Well, yeah, isn't that what they always do when remasters and come out? Mainly remasters.
Like, it's always like when it gets announced, everybody's like, "Oh my god, yes!"
And then it comes out and no one buys it.
And then it comes out and everyone's like, "Oh, they ruined the art style."
Well, yeah,
like, shut up.
Well, watching a video of it, it looked pretty decent. Like, they're trying to keep it to its like original form, just upgrade it a little bit. So, I kind of like that idea. Like, it's not completely like redone, I should say, or try to like make it like completely new, but just like trying to keep the old skull or like the old house there, you know, just adding like a little color to it.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to like they're basically saying like it's a remaster, not a remake. So it's trying to like I feel like with a remaster you try to keep the art style, where like a remake is like something like Demon's Souls on the PS3 to Demon's Souls on the PS5.
Yeah,
right.
Which is like completely different, but yeah, I'm actually intrigued in this.
What do you guys think the price was going to be for this game?
For a remaster, $40.
I'm going 40 as well.
I guess it depends, because it might be 50.
Yeah, it could be 50. If it's on the PS5, it could be 50 for a remaster.
Well, no, because it's coming on PS4 also.
Yeah, it says PS4 as well, but also PS5, so they could try to capitalize.
I think once the trophy list hits, we should probably do something with that. Like, hey, let's take a look at it, and like, what do we all think?
Yeah.
It'll be fun to play it again. I played it a long time ago on PC.
Shit. I can't remember the last time I played it, but I loved it when I was growing up.
My brain was too small for it back then. I could probably play it now. I still own it.
You were?
When I first played it, it was like one of my mom's friends, her son had the game on his PC, but he had like a fully leveled up character or whatever. He just let me play that one. I was like going around just killing everything in one hit. So that's what I'm like, oh, okay.
So
let's play this for real now.
You didn't have a fully developed brain yet, Waves, is what you're saying? But
yeah.
you're there now?
Yeah, I mean, now I actually understand what stats do, you know? So.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
You know, when you're a kid, you just see numbers and you're like, the higher numbers, the better.
Yeah, the bigger the number, the better I do. Yeah. Well, so this is unrelated just because I was thinking about this when I saw Diablo 2. I don't know why. But, you know what game they talked about a while ago that, like, I really want to come out, but it's not been talked about in a while? Which it's never been on console, only on PC. And I played it a lot, Waves.
Rocket League? No.
No, Rocket League's already on the PS4.
I want to think about it. Empire at War?
No.
I don't know.
RuneScape.
Toontown? Oh, RuneScape?
Yeah, do you remember when they talked about, like, a console port of RuneScape, and I was like, fuck yeah, baby!
I wouldn't mind that, honestly.
I want it, man, and I don't want that bullshit RS3. I want old school.
It might happen. I think they added, like, RuneScape to Steam recently.
Yeah, they added like RuneScape to Steam, like, I think it was, like, 6 months ago, so it has, like, Steam achievements now, which I was actually, like, looking, when they first did that, I was looking at Steam achievements, because I was like, if they're just going to use Steam achievements as trophies, like, what are we dealing with? And it wasn't actually, like, that bad, but, like, I wish they would do it, and they would put a trophy in there to reach, like, max or something.
I just wonder how they would do it.
Yeah, that's been my question the whole time since, like, that game is so click intensive. Like, how do you do it with a controller? But to be fair, like, they did the whole, like, mobile thing, which, like, I think was kind of, like, a really big step.
Well, yeah, but you can click stuff on, like,
yeah, you
mobile.
You can still click on mobile, but, like, I think that was, like, a big step to be able to convert it over to, like, mobile on how to do it. I mean, not as big as, like, putting it on console, but at least it was, like, something innovative. But I would love
if they can put FF14 in fucking Diablo, I guess they can do RuneScape in some way.
Yeah, I would love to see how it is. And even if it's not like click intensive when it comes to, like, combat, like, if it's just like clicking to, like, mine or, like, cut trees down, like, sure. But, like, if they would change the combat to not be like worrying about, like, what do they call it, like, getting, like, pit and stuff, like, I don't think that would be, I don't know, people would probably get pissed though. They'd be like, this isn't RuneScape anymore.
I'm happy they're bringing more PC games to, like, consoles and vice versa.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, like, I didn't get to play Jedi Outcast and, like, Jedi Academy for, like, the longest time until I got, like, a good, like, working PC.
Yeah, I think that's like the nice thing is like a lot of those games that were like big on PC that are coming over, like you had to have like a powerful PC at the time that they came out to play them, which like was kind of unobtainable.
Yeah. Well, like notoriously, as I said before, I didn't understand how like computers and internet worked until I got into middle school. But like, but yeah, like I would always watch these videos, and then I'd be like, "Oh man, I can't find this game on my PS2 because I didn't know like what PC meant back then."
Did they spell it right? Why did they? They're missing. They turned the S to a C, and they took my number off.
So, I think it's just nice now to have, like, even like dumb fucking, point and click games like fucking Grim Fandango and Myst and those games, like games that were just stuck on PC and never came out on console. It's just nice to have them now.
Dude, I bought like Grim Fandango when they released it back on the PS4 back in like I think it was like 2014 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I played it for like 2 seconds because I made like a video about it back in the day, and then I recently like went back to play it, and I was like, dude, why didn't I just play this back? And like this game's so fucking good.
Yeah, I need to go back and finish that game.
Like it was so much fun to play. But yeah, I'm glad that they're like crossing over because like you said, it's not just PC games coming over to console, it's also like console games going over to PC. Which is like I think it's good to just have everyone have everything. I don't like the whole mindset of like not of exclusives, but like exclusivity can kind of be annoying because most people aren't going to buy a console just to play like one franchise. Like, and it seems like ridiculous to kind of like have that exclusivity for that. Like, I would really love to play the Forza games. Like, I would really love to, but I'm not going to buy an Xbox just to play Forza. Like, I'll just not play it at this point, or I can play it on my PC. Like,
yeah. I was gonna say just play it on your PC.
Yeah, I have an alternative there with that one at least. But like, if people were on PC or like Xbox and they wanted to play like Gran Turismo, like you'd have to buy a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 to play it, or PlayStation 3, whatever one you want to play.
I can see like the benefits of having like exclusivity and stuff because like there's the issue of like when you have it on everything. Everyone has like different specs or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the Xbox Series X controller obviously doesn't have like haptic feedback and adaptive triggers and all that shit.
Yeah, there's like optimization and stuff.
Yeah. So like when you make a game for the PS5, like you know what everyone has, so like, oh, I can tailor make this this experience for everyone who has these like specific shit or whatever.
Yeah, and like optimized too. Like one thing I'm thinking about is a lot of games when they come out or whatever, and then they release patches. Like sometimes the patch will be bigger on like the PS4 or PS5 than like the Xbox. Mm. And then you look at it and you're like, well, does it have something to do with the console, like the OS? Like what's causing this game to be like more optimized on one console than the other? Like at least file size wise, or like I guess it's more like compression wise, but
the game that I'm always like surprised that didn't come out on PC is Red Dead 1.
I think there was talks about it going on, but didn't Red Dead 2 get released on PC?
Yeah, Red Dead 2 did come out on PC, but I'm always surprised that Red Dead 1 didn't, because I remember hearing a lot that like GTA 4, like the best experience to play that game was on PC. Because then you could do like the social club, like camera movie stuff where you can like basically make your own movies in GTA 4 and all that jazz.
Yeah, you could do it in GTA 4, but like the other thing that was great about those GTA games on PC was not only that, but like even in not Vice City, in San Andreas and GTA 4. Well, they added it in GTA 4, but like San Andreas, you could play like online. Like modders added like online, and GTA 4, there's like mods to play like the single player campaign in co-op, which is like awesome that you have stuff like that. But didn't like GTA 5 not originally come out on the PC? Didn't it not come out till the remaster remaster when it came out on the PS4 and Xbox One.
Can you really call that a remaster?
No, it's not a remaster.
I feel like that's more of a re-release. Yeah.
I just have to use the word remastered at least once a day to feel good about myself.
I think I was gonna say they did that with the Red Dead 2 also, but it didn't come out on next gen consoles, at least not yet. I think it came out like a year after the original release.
Yeah, which it always confuses me because don't they develop they're developing it on a PC? I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how it works. You could probably explain it better, but if you're developing it, wouldn't it be easier for them to just develop it for PC and then port it over, or is it easier to develop it for consoles and port it to PC?
I guess it's weird because it's true, it's made on a PC or whatever.
But it's the programs you use, right?
Yeah, there's also the dev kits or whatever. A lot of dev kits are very specific and all that shit. I know that it's how I was saying right now with the PS5. You know what everyone has, so you don't have to worry about oh, do they have a better graphics card and all that shit. So I know on PC, that's why if you play a game on PC, it'll usually have a
system
extra company on it, DMC Devil May Cry on the PS3. There's no talk about a team called Q-Lock. But if you play it on PC, it'll be on there because they're the ones who ported it over to PC. Because when you port over stuff to PC, you have to worry about oh, does it work with this this graphics card? Does it work with this CPU? Because everyone has a different rig basically.
Yeah, and then I know on games on Steam and stuff, they always have the minimum PC or spec requirements or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just find it interesting. The exclusivity stuff just intrigues me, and then I guess the reason why I look at PC being quote unquote easier to develop on is you always see dog shit games getting released on Steam left and right, and granted that is happening on the PlayStation more and more every year, but I just feel there's more dog shit over there, so it almost seems it would be easier to develop for the PC first.
That's because Steam has no QA team. I think with Sony there's rules, so when you send in your game, I think the minimum requirements is that the game has to have no game breaking bugs or something like that, and if you have trophies, they have to all be able to pop, which is funny thinking about how many games don't pop.
Yeah, Marvel's. Then, but hey, John Sony, can you fix Hajwala Legend? Because that shit don't even boot up for me, man.
I think some of the other rules is it can't break the system. If it breaks the system, your game automatically gets denied.
Damn.
I think is another one. On Steam, Makes sense. Tried to do rules at one point. Everyone got mad, so Steam was just fuck this. Just let it be a fucking madhouse in here.
Yeah. Y'all can release whatever you want to.
Turn to asylum.
I don't know. I guess you said though, if you kind of backwards develop it, so you develop it for the consoles that you know are going to be typically less powerful than people's PCs, you can develop to you can develop inside the lines of something and then it could be easier to port it over to a PC that's everyone's going to have it. It would be easy for anyone to obtain a PC and parts to a PC that would be equal to the power of a PS5 or PS4. So I mean, it makes sense. Either one makes sense to me. I can see it either way.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, off topic of what we started on. RuneScape, can we get a PS4 or PS5 release of RuneScape?
Bring more PC games to PS4 or PS5.
Yes, that too. Please.
Bring back Star Wars Galaxies.
Yes.
So this next topic, wait, let me type this in real quick. If one of you guys want to type in, not type it in, but talk about it, you can.
Yeah, I mean, you can hit on it, Brian. I didn't read too much of the article. I remember when this kind of got released, but basically there's a developer, Bloober. Is that how you pronounce it? Bloober?
Yep.
Bloober team working on a Silent Hill. Is it supposed to be like were they talking about like a remaster or something, or like a whole new game?
Reboot, I guess.
From my understanding, it's supposed to be like a new game. But it's being what is the word? Konami is giving them the job to do it. They're man, I cannot think of that word.
It's outsourcing. Right?
Thank you, outsourcing it to them to make it, and Bloober team is the ones who made the Medium developer. Or the Medium.
They also made what's that game?
Made what?
Yeah.
The Blair Witch game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, I think this might be true, but yeah, it's a rumor.
I heard that this one's not true recently.
Oh, is it not true? Okay.
That's what I heard. The whole outsourcing thing is true.
But it's not them. Okay.
I think the Bloober team is not true from what I heard. So this is like the rumor right now. The rumor is Konami has outsourced their IPs to outside studios. Mm-hmm. When it comes to Silent Hill, the rumor is that one is a Western developer and one is a Japanese developer, and the Japanese developer one will be announced this summer during E3.
Yep.
Okay.
So I want to say there is a good chance that we're getting a Silent Hill game relatively soon. Which will be dank. I guess like my only issue is I haven't played the Medium. I heard good things, I heard bad things, I heard it's short. But like I personally don't like Bloober team as like a developer, because I feel like they're just like a piggyback kind of developer, which kind of sounds shitty to say, but like Layers of Fear was kind of piggybacking off PT.
Yeah.
Observer is their other game, was like piggybacking off of what's it called? Observer was kind of piggybacking off like the cyberpunk love that like just started happening out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And the Medium was kind of piggybacking off like the nostalgia of Silent Hill games. And like I also don't feel like Bloober team would be good at making a Silent Hill game. Personally. Who I would love to see make a Silent Hill game is I forget his name. Well, not his name, but his studio's name. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
I would love for a remake of like the first 2 games. Honestly, I would like a remake of like all of them. I mean, I have intentions to play the first 2, and I did play them back like when they got released on the PS3, but like they're just, to today's game standards, they can be very hard to play at times.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah. So we talked about this in December, actually. Keiichiro Toyama, he's a creator of Silent Hill and Gravity Rush.
Right.
He left Sony Japan and made his own studio,
mm-hmm.
Bokeh Game Studio.
Yep. And
I think around that time was the rumor that Sony Studio Japan was making Sony Japan Studio. I forget what it was called. Was making like a Silent Hill game. So I just want. We don't know who the Japanese like developer is yet. I'm like low key hoping it's Bokeh Game Studio with Keiichiro Toyama back on like the helm of it. Because if anyone's gonna make like a good Silent Hill game, it's gonna be like the original creator. I feel.
100% agree. Yeah.
I just don't know if like the medium dev guys can like do a good job about it, especially like with such a storied like franchise as like Silent Hill. I would like to see a new, like a remaster, especially not remaster, I guess, but remake of the first one at least. Because the first one was a PS1 game and it did not age well, except for like the FMV cutscenes, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I'm just excited also to just get a Silent Hill game.
Yeah, I think we talked about it back when we were talking about like I don't like RE8, and we were talking about RE7 at one point, but like I feel like there's a gap in horror games right now, like good horror games right now in the market, where like we're not getting really anything at all.
Yeah.
And we're talking like solid horror games. Like I don't even know if I would consider like recent games that came out like The Evil Within and The Evil Within 2 like a horror game. But you know, games like I think RE7 is like a horror game. Like games like, even though Outlast I think is kind of just scratching the surface, like Outlast I would consider up there. Like
I think
kind of less action and more like edge of your seat, because like Outlast has zero action in terms of like combat. That doesn't exist in the game. So
I think so this is how I classify like the games. I'm like a big fan of horror games because it's like, I won't get into specifics of it actually, but something like Resident Evil 7, I would call that what people usually call it survival horror. Where I classify a survival horror more as like, oh, you have to worry about what's in your items or whatever. Like, do you have enough space in your items to pick up like the next thing? And
yeah, it's like if it requires like item management or like storage like management.
Yeah, which I think personally, I think those are like the best type of horror games. Even though sometimes it can suck, especially with like the Resident Evil 1 remake. You can almost like soft lock yourself out of like progressing in the game, just because you don't have enough bullets and you used all the bullets that you can get at that point.
Yeah, well, and the other thing about like RE7 when it comes to that is like you have to, and like just games like that in general, you have to make a determination. Like, I have this shotgun, I have like, is this for me to pick this up? I need to get rid of this. Is it worth it? Like, there's like that whole other aspect, while also being like chased by shit that you're like scared shitless of.
Yeah. So I feel like that's the best type of horror game. And then there's the psychological horror, which is stuff like Silent Hill. And I feel like Silent Hill is like the only one that does psychological horror good, personally.
Oh yeah.
And then there's Outlast, which I call those peekaboo horrors, where it's mostly jump scares and you just running away from everyone.
Yeah.
Or hiding away like a little baby. Which
I feel like games like, I don't even classify like The Evil Within as like a horror game, or like, I feel like a horror game, if you have the ability to be like you said, like you want to have like item management and stuff, if you have the ability to pull like any weapon out of your ass at any time, like you don't have that, you don't get that feeling of like edge of your seat. Like you always have that like when you don't have that feeling of like, I got this shit under control, like that's like that like amplifies what's happening.
Yeah, I wouldn't classify Evil Within 1 really as horror. I would call that like what Resident Evil 6 is, like an action game kind of.
Yeah.
The Evil Within 2 though, I would classify that as horror, but that's like, it's like a whole new different type of horror, I guess. I don't know what kind of horror game you would classify, because I wouldn't classify it as survival horror because there isn't really like item management, but it's more like because with the Evil Within 2, it's like you have your main story. It's like, I guess it's kind of like Tomb Raider, where it's like semi-open world or whatever.
Yeah. Like the new Tomb Raiders.
Yeah. and with the Evil Within 2, what can happen is you can go and like in houses that like you don't even have any reason to go to, just to, like get supplies or whatever, and like just some crazy shit will happen. You had like no idea that will happen, and then out of nowhere you're now in a boss fight, and then like the more you progress through the game, you'd think only like grunts would be out and about in like the open world or whatever. But eventually, like even bosses start like being out in the open world, and I feel like that's where it gets its horror from, where you don't know what's next or whatever. You don't know what's gonna happen next. I don't know what kind of like way you'd like classify that.
Like but, I don't know, like unknown kind of. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I think one of the greatest things, I can't remember, was it Amnesia that did it? But like the longer you would like play or do something, like you would start to hear things that weren't actually happening. Like I can't think of what game that is.
The Evil Within was like that. It was when it first came out. Like I remember hearing something like if you wear headphones, you would start hearing stuff as well.
Yeah, I could have swore like one of the, I thought like Amnesia or something was like that as well. There was like a first person game where like you would like hallucinate as like the longer you played.
So Amnesia has like that mechanic where if you stay in the dark for too long, you go insane.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of. That's exactly what I'm thinking of.
And so then that'll start like fucking with you. I don't think the Evil Within had it. I want to say like the first game I really heard about that happening, which is funny, because it's a shitty game. Dead Space 3. It would have like the co-op. There was like some co-op missions where you would go in, and the second player would see like a completely different thing than what the first player was seeing.
Shit, I haven't played that for a long time, but I don't necessarily remember it. But I may not have also been paying attention because I was an idiot back then.
They're like the co-op missions.
Yeah.
There's one mission where it's, you have to get like ammo or something. I only remember this because I think I played the game recently with my friend because it got re-released on Steam. So there's like one mission where you have to go there, and I forget which guy, what his name is, but like his whole thing is that his whole family got murdered in like some accident or whatever. And so when you go there, the second player sees like a birthday party basically, and they're getting attacked by like monsters and shit, while the first player just sees like a normal like facility. So like the second player will see like streamers and balloons and like piñatas and shit.
That's crazy. I don't think I remember that, but I might have to play that now. And
that's like the first time I personally saw it because I never played like Amnesia. I still to this day haven't played it.
Yeah, I haven't played. I mean, I played Amnesia I played it on the PC a little bit back my freshman year of college, but I know it came out on PS4, and I've always wanted to kind of like play it, to actually play through the whole thing, but I don't know, I think I just have like a weird feeling with like horror games recently because there hasn't like been any that have been like that have really captivated me, at least until like RE7. Playing like the PT, like playing PT was like, fuck, this is what it could be, and then like I played RE7 and I was like, damn, like this game's so good, and then nothing has really ever like grabbed my attention since then.
I think the last good horror game I played recently was Resident Evil 2, the remake. And that's more of that like, oh, do I have enough shit? And then you have like Mr. X following you around the entire fucking time.
Yeah, like having
X gonna give it to you.
Having shit like that, I think, is like more scary than like anything.
Yeah.
like this big ass man is following me around and I cannot kill him. Like, holy shit.
I think now the next like good horror game that's gonna come out is gonna be Resident Evil 8. And I have high hopes for it because it's basically Resident Evil 4. but with werewolves this time.
Mm-hmm.
And vampires.
And vampires. And a lady that everybody wants to step on them.
Yeah, that's everyone's dream now. No, but I mean, I would just love to see like other games like come, and I guess like the most recent one that I think about all the time is like Outlast, where it's just like a game where like it kind of came out of nowhere. It got a sequel. Like I don't think I've ever heard anyone necessarily talk bad about the game, but I don't think it's anyone's favorite game. But like that game, there's a lot of like horror games that come out and like everyone just like kind of pushes them off to the side. Like you said, like Layers of Fear. There's another one that there's a bunch of like first person ones that came out. I have one on my list that I can't even think about. It's like RNG. The maps are RNG. I'm looking through right now trying to find it.
I like don't have an issue. I guess I do have an issue with Outlast. I don't know. I just don't like those games because like with Resident Evil and like survival horror type games, I guess every single time you play that, there will be some kind of like horror in it. Because you're always going to have to be thinking about item management unless you've like played the game like 1,000 times. With like Outlast, it's like you play it once and that's it because you already know where all the jump scares are.
Yeah.
And then like all the chase scenes.
You know that nothing's gonna happen the first time you play it.
It's like the end of the game. It just devolves into you just holding the L1 button or whatever it was to like run. And then they'll just never grab you unless you literally stop moving.
Even if you stop moving, they probably won't. I can't find... Dude, why can't I find this game that I'm thinking of on my list? Shit. The other thing that's crazy about, like... So, you're saying, like, your first... You really only get, like, a first experience from it, and then, like, that's it. It would be... What would make that... What would kind of help with that, I should say, is, like, if you had an RE7 where you change the difficulty... And it literally changes, like, the whole... Not only does it make the game harder, it changes the locations of everything. Oh, you thought you knew the enemy spawns? No, you don't. Oh, you thought you knew where the collectibles were? No, you didn't. Like, it literally changes everything up. And it's, like, a whole different game.
The Madhouse difficulty and all that.
Yeah.
Or it's, like... I think it also, like, changes, like... where bosses like start chasing you also.
Yeah, like it makes it feel like a whole like completely different game. And I guess that's any linear game. That's not just horror games. That's just like any linear game. By the way, the game I was thinking about is called Daylight. But like any horror game and any game in general, when you play it, after you play it the first time, I feel like you lose the like you lose the excitement that you have. It's just anything, even watching a movie, like, or watching a TV show. Like, once you watch it or do it one time, you already know what's going to happen. But I guess the whole thing with horror games is a lot of them, or horror movies too, a lot of them feed off of jump scares and trying to surprise people. And when you surprise someone and then you try to do it again, like,
well, yeah, but
you can't do that.
I guess like the difference, I guess like with Resident Evil is that item management though, because even though like if you know, because like Resident Evil has fucking jump scares, even though you know where those are, if you fuck up getting like one item or whatever, you're fucked anyways, and that's where that horror comes from. Yeah,
it's not just the jump scares; it's the managing. Do I need these bullets? Do I need this shotgun? Yeah. Do I need to pick up med kits? Do I need, like, it's the whole management of that as well on top of it. That's like, yeah, I think that's like where you get the... I remember doing that in RE7. Like, RE7, you can get the... I don't know if it's on Madhouse or when you play it the first time, but you get to the lobby of the house, or the foyer of the house, and right by the front door there's that shotgun that you can pick up.
Yeah. And
I remember when I was playing through on one of my runs, I don't know if it was like my speed run or what, but I remember playing through and I didn't have enough like slots for it. And I was like, I basically had like I think it was like after I played, so I had like what's the pistol called that has like the Albert?
Yeah.
Like I had the Albert and I had all the Albert ammo, but then I was like, I'm thinking to myself, like, the Albert's good, but it's not as good as a shotgun. So, like, do I drop the Albert and pick the shotgun up? And then, like, I think you could, like, pick the Albert up, like, later on in, like, a storage box. Because, like, once you beat it, like, it was always there. So I was like, oh, do I do that and, like, use the shotgun for a little bit? Or do I keep the Albert and just, like, dodge and weave my way through and use the out? Like, there's, like, that whole, like, other layer to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, needless to say, I agree with you on seeing. I would love to see a Silent Hill. I would like to see a remake, like a true remake, and not just like a remaster or like a port.
I would just like to see a good like psychological horror game again.
Yeah,
exactly.
Silent Hill 2, like, I guess not Silent Hill 2, but just Silent Hill in general was like the only one that was really good at that. Especially like Silent Hill 2, because like Silent Hill 2 was just crazy when you think about it, especially like for PS2.
Yeah.
Like, the way the ending was chosen, it wasn't just like a choice at the end of the game, where it was like, oh, do you want to kill this person or do you want to save this person? It was literally how you played the game.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if you kept yourself healthy and you didn't like, and if you tried to like keep yourself alive a lot of the time, like if you used a lot of your ammo and all this shit, then that'll give you like the good ending. If you kept yourself at like really low health most of the game and you shot every enemy in the game and all that shit, it would give you like the bad ending, and then there was like all the other joke endings and all that shit. And I'm sure like if you're going for trophies, that's probably like annoying as fuck if there's like a trophy for
all the endings.
For all the endings. But like just from like a gameplay mechanic like kind of way, like that shit's just cool. Like I've never seen a game do that again like before.
Yeah.
And then there's like in Silent Hill 2 there's like a part where you cross the boat. They said to like always like have that weird like that tension or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of time you're on that boat is different for every single player and for every single playthrough of the game.
Damn.
And stuff like that. It's just, I just like to see like a good psychological horror game that like fucks with you like that.
Honestly, I would love to see. I would love to see a horror game that like stuff happens in it and you just think like, what the fuck? Like I remember the first time I ever watched a Silent Hill movie, and I was just like, I was completely mind blown by like what was just going on.
Yeah.
Like there's just shit that happens and you're just like, huh? Like, and like even like, and I feel like those are the things you remember. Like in RE7, is it like Lucas or whoever like literally fucking cuts his arm off or something, and you're just sitting there and you're like, what the fuck? Like what? Or like when Mia at the beginning of the game like cuts your arm off, and you're like, or like when you played the one time Waves and it was you, right? You were playing and you were running from Jack, and then you got that cutscene where like he cut your leg off and then you had to put it back on.
Oh yeah, and you have to like crawl to him, and he like gives you like the thing to like to fuse your leg back to your leg or whatever.
Yeah, like I think like stuff like that is just, like really fucked up stuff like that is the stuff that you end up remembering at the end of the day, and not like. And like you're saying, like where you know the boat ride's different for everyone, or like every playthrough you play, it's like different. So like you play through one time and it's like, I remember this being like, 10 minutes long, and then you play the next time and you're like, wait, it was 1 minute. What? Am I sure it was 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Like what? So
it's, I guess like PT is like the perfect thing. Like it was different for everyone, I feel. And like no one to this day still knows how to get like the ending for real. Like I remember people saying you have to like put on a headset and then like say Jareth into the microphone, and then some people said, oh no, you have to like zoom into this part of like the screen or whatever. Yeah. And then it'll work. And
there was a lot of things I remember actually getting. I did it one time. I actually got like how to do and like actually like left the house, but like we were doing everything like that people were saying, like talking into your controller, and then you think about it and you're like, why would I talk into my controller? It doesn't have a microphone. Then you gotta hook. People were saying you have to hook a headset up and say, like you said, say Jareth to like the phone or something. Like there was just like so many like methods on how to get it going around. And you're just sitting there like, well, what's actually, like, what do I actually have to do?
Yeah.
But, yeah, let's get some good horror games. That'd be nice.
You want to take this next one, Brian?
Yeah. I'm gonna butcher this last name. So Drew Murray, from what I understand, he worked for Insomniac for quite some time. He left Sony to go work for Xbox, and he became the director for Sunset Overdrive, right?
Well, that was when he was still working on Insomniac.
Okay, but anyway, yeah, you're right. Yeah, he worked at he was the director for Sunset Overdrive. He left, and then he went to Xbox
to work on the Dark.
Yeah, I'm working on Perfect Dark remake, and apparently he just left Xbox, and he's coming back home to Insomniac Games.
Hey.
I wonder what he's gonna work on.
I just wonder why he left, because well, do we know what his position was?
He at Microsoft.
Yeah.
Hold on. Here. Like, there is no really link to this fucking story, in all honesty. Like, I'm just going off.
He must have not had, like, a big,
like, he put out a tweet today. It looks like, today's or technically yesterday, at, like, 1:30 p.m. on the 22nd. I guess 10 years, 5 games, and 6 job titles just wasn't enough. I'm excited to be rejoining many friends and former colleagues at Insomniac Games as a principal designer. That takes me to my 7th job title. Now I just need to work some days and make some games, right?
Yes, please.
I don't think he's, like... We might be looking too much into this. It's probably just, working at Insomniac again, that's it.
Right. Like, game designer, I made games like Sunset Overdrive, Ratchet & Clank, and Resistance. Now, there has been a rumor about a Resistance remake, too, as well.
I feel like there's a rumor for every remake now.
Yeah, but Insomniac's been really hinting at Resistance for the last year.
Like, the amount of times I heard of, there's a Silent Hill remake.
Right, but that could also been true, though. There's been a lot of things going towards that. New Silent Hill Twitter page, all that being made.
I mean,
but
I would love to see a Resistance trilogy remake, personally, but at the same time, I'm getting tired of all these remakes.
Oh, yeah. Well, we talk about this almost every week, though, too.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess that's kind of selfish, because I would like to see some games remade. Like I said, I would love to see a Resistance trilogy remake. I would love to see... we talked about it last week, Brian, but I would love to see, like, every single fucking Rockstar game get remade.
Right.
But... I mean, I don't know the time that goes into doing those. I feel like it's just, you already have the narrative. It's just making the actual game or updating the game, the way it plays and looks. But
as far as we know, Insomniac's main focus right now is Ratchet & Clank, because that comes out in June. Now, they could be working on Spider-Man 2, and then something else. We don't know yet.
Nah,
they haven't announced.
I know what they're
yet.
working on. I know what they're working on.
What are they working on, Snickle?
I know what they're working on.
Alright.
Fuse 2, baby!
Shut the fuck up.
Come on, man.
I don't know. I watched, like, a video today about remakes. Because I just watch stupid videos like that, and
Fair enough.
It was about FF7 remake, and like I guess like the whole term of remake and what it means or whatever. And I guess this is coming more like from a game designer outlook or whatever.
Right.
But I don't know. I'd prefer like a re-release rather than like a remake most of the times.
Are you talking like a reboot or like what do you?
Just like the same game re-released on like the new console.
So like no, so you wouldn't want any update to like visuals.
Yeah, because I feel like personally, this is just me personally. I understand like there's a lot of people who don't like the old visuals and they're like, oh, it's too blocky or oh, it's this or whatever. And I get all of that, but I feel like to get the true experience of like that game, it has to be the same. Like it has to have like the annoying shit, even like from back then. And this is just me personally. Like Demon Souls had the stupid fucking world tendency thing, but that is what Demon Souls is. If you're gonna remake, and they remade Demon Souls and they didn't take it out, but if you're gonna have Demon Souls and take that out, is it Demon Souls anymore? It's like with Final Fantasy VII Remake when it came out. It was not. It technically wasn't a remake at all. Because of new story beats, an ending that was basically saying, hey, forget about the original story of FF7 because we're making our own shit. It's not the same combat system, which for some people it's better now, but like at that point, can you really say it's FF7 anymore?
Well, it's almost like just milking the name. I mean, I agree with not wanting to update things. I mean, I was going to actually use Demon's Souls as a reference, but like when you say, "Oh, I've played Demon's Souls," people are going to say like, "Well, which one?" You know what I mean? And to be fair, you know, between the PS3 and PS5 one, you know, I think Blue Point is really good at doing that, where they don't really change too much, except the way it visually plays. I think a lot of the games that they remake they have all of the quirks that the old games had. Which is why like they make such good remakes, but there's a lot of games where that doesn't happen. So then like when you ask people, it's like BioShock, you know, it's you know, from a trophy standpoint, right? When you talk to somebody and they're like, "Oh, I did BioShock 2." You're like, "Well, did you do it on a PS3 or a PS4?" Because like that's a big difference from like from like a trophy standpoint. Like, did you actually experience the multiplayer or did you not?
Yeah.
But like I don't know if like you should really have to ask that question if they're just like releasing or remastering a game. You shouldn't have to ask that question.
I understand completely taking out like multiplayer modes, especially like from PS3 games or whatever. But like, I don't know, like I'm trying to think of a game like
that was completely different when they remastered it. I was trying to think of one too, but
like imagine if they remade Kingdom Hearts or whatever and it looked nothing like Kingdom Hearts. Like, yeah, for sure, like kind of looks dated in like some way, but to me personally, it's not. Every like back then, that was like the style of it. That's how a lot of games back then were stylized, because making a realistic looking character still looked weird. Like, just look at like CJ from San Andreas and his like fused arms, his fused hands. I mean,
every character in that game did not look realistic.
Yeah. But that's like what they were going for, and that's like the style they went for, right?
Yeah, it'd be weird if they were like remaster that with like GTA 5. I mean, it would be cool because you'd have the narrative with the new way it plays, but like that was the fun of the game when it came out.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like at that point, is it like San Andreas anymore? If it's not playing the same, if it's not.
Well, no, and I think that's why people call them like that's why the remake is actually in the name. Like when you say when you say FF7, like, okay, did you play FF7 or did you play the remake? But if someone was to say, "Oh, I played the FF7 remake," you would know, like, oh, okay, well, you didn't actually play like the real FF7. Like, you played like a bootleg version that looked better, but that's not the true experience.
But a remake implies it is the same game.
Yeah.
Right?
It
but with like pretty visuals or whatever.
Yes, it should. In my opinion, any game that is using the same name should have the same experience. So if they were to remaster Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, yes, they could update models and that may change the experience, but as long as the narrative is the same and you're getting the same experiences that you got other than the visual stuff, then I can understand. Like the whole thing with FF7 and like changing the story, like it's not even FF7 anymore. Like you might as well call it like FF7 V2 or something. Like that's ridiculous. And like you said, Waves, you talked about it earlier, like a lot of people that play games nowadays, God forbid a game look like a game from the PS3 era and no one's going to touch it. So if they were to just port it over, people would be like, I'm not touching that shit.
I mean, there's also like some games on the PS3 that don't even need to be remade. Like God of War 3 doesn't need to be remade.
No.
I'd even like argue Resistance 2 and 3 don't even need to be remade.
Mm-mm.
I'd say even Resistance 1, but I know some people will look at that and be like, oh, it looks too PS2-y or whatever.
I like how Resistance 1 looks, so.
I mean, I
thought it looked fine.
I get the whole visual thing, but I feel like it could... Like, you don't want to change... If you're doing a remake, you don't want to change narratives. You don't want to change... Any sort of content in the game, you don't want to change, but, like, it gets tough because the whole point of the remake is typically to update the visuals. Like, they did the whole PS2 to PS4, which was literally just ports, but now it's more of, like, people are trying to upgrade the way that games, like, graphically look, because that's what people, like, care about now, is, like, graphics. Like, that's the only thing people care about.
Well, now it's, like, how graphically it looks and how it plays, also.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I never played Mafia 1, but I can probably assure you that, like, the way the Mafia remake plays is not the same way as the Mafia 1 played.
Oh, it's not, and that's something that people complained about because they took stuff out, I'm pretty sure, and they definitely changed stuff around. They didn't use, like, the same voice actors. Like, a lot of stuff changed, but that game was, like, a true, like... I would consider that to be, like, a re-envision of it, almost, and not, like, a remake. Because they are using the narrative, but they're kind of twisting it in the ways. They're not using the exact map. They're not using the exact voice act. Like, they're not doing everything the way that it was. But, like, I guess, like, if they were to, like, remake GTA 3, but then Claude would talk, I'd be like, that's not GTA 3. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, my man's just speaking? I thought he didn't know any words, like...
Oh, he lost his vocal cords.
Yeah, I thought they ripped those things out, like, what? But, like, that would be weird if they were to add, like, voice acting for him. But, like, I don't know, I think as long as the game, like, structurally the map is the same and everything, and you're just updating the way it looks, like, I think that would be, like, an acceptable remake. Or I wouldn't even call it a remake, like a remaster. Remake implies you're like actually like remaking things. That's why I would call like the Mafia 1 like a remake, like re-envision and remake would kind of be the same thing because they're remaking the game.
Mm-hmm.
Narratively, they're not, but everything else wise, they are. But like that gets into the whole discussion that we've always had of like, what is a remake? What is a remaster? Like, what would you want to see? You know, so, and I can understand your point, Waves, of like wanting a game to play the way it played when it came out. That's part of the experience. Like,
well, I think all the minute things are part of the all like the stupid bugs, all the stupid like shit or whatever.
Yeah.
Especially for like games back then. Like the whole point, like Devil May Cry 1 and like 2 and 3 and all of them, its main mechanic is jump canceling to like keep enemies in the air. That had started off as a bug. And then like there's things that started off as a bug back then that are now like main mechanics and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then like if they were to like remake DMC1, and they were just to take out that bug or whatever, or they just can't recreate that bug, at that point it's like, is it DMC1 anymore?
I would say no.
Yeah.
I mean, is it from a narrative standpoint? Probably, but if you remove things like that, little things, then no. But you would expect that someone to remake it would do their research on that. That's why I say Blue Point is such a good. They're such a good developer behind remaking, because I feel like they do that research. They look into all those little things and like little like quote unquote features that were in the game, and they always make it feel true to what it was, but they update it to new standards. I mean, I don't know. It's weird because like you look at a game like Shadow of the Colossus, like that's a fucking chungus game to play on the PS3 version, let alone the PS2 version. But I'm sure it's smooth as hell to play on the PS4 version.
I personally think the best way to play that game is on the PS3.
But it's like, do you give up? And it's like this, what we were talking about with like Silent Hill. Like, you know, do you want them to remake Silent Hill 1 but keep the game? Do you want it to play the same exact way? Or do you want something like what they did with RE2 and 3 where they, you know, completely changed the way the game plays?
I would like them to keep this. That's my thing though. Like, I'm a fucking nerd.
Yeah,
that's my issue.
Yeah.
Like, I love the Resident Evil 2 remake, don't get me wrong. But my favorite remake that I've seen out of all the remakes is like Resident Evil 1 on the GameCube, which I guess is now on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like kind of how like, I don't know, they kept basically like the style of the original game. They're still what's it called, fixed cameras and stuff like that. And like, yeah, they added new stuff, like now you can like stab enemies and shit like that, but like it still feels and like looks like RE1.
Well, you know what's another good example of that is like Grim Fandango, where like Grim Fandango, and this is the cool thing about it is Grim Fandango, they give you the options to change the game to play like a modern game, like change the aspect ratio. Do you want to use tank controls? Like, but like, if you want to play it true to how it came out back in the day, you also have those options to do it as well. And it's also cool because they give you like trophies for playing on tank controls, which like, I think that's just cool. But like, I think it's better to have the option than to not. But like, it's hard because they make like an RE2 and 3 remake and people are like, oh, this is great. But it's like, is it actually RE2? Because you're not, like you said, you're not getting the same experience that you got from the original RE2.
And like, especially with RE3, like RE2 is still like a really good game, don't get me wrong. It's like one of my favorite games on the PS4. But it's also like, to me, that is not RE2. Because like, I would have preferred if that game had what's it called? Fixed cameras.
Fixed cameras, yeah.
Yeah, because that is what RE2 was.
Yeah.
And I understand, like, for everyone, like, oh, fixed cameras, tank control, like, whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, that is what RE2 was. And then, like, then you run into Resident Evil 3. And then now, like, my issue with Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 3 is not Resident Evil 3. In any way, shape, like, the only thing in Resident Evil 3 that is Resident Evil 3 is Nemesis.
Yeah.
And then like in Resident Evil 4 there's like talks of like completely changing the story, completely like changing how the game played and all this shit.
See, I can't get behind changing the narrative of a game when you're doing like a remake or something. But if you want to take a game and you want to use the same narrative again, like Mafia, but all you're doing is you're updating it to like new gaming standards, then like I think that's a sufficient, like, that is a remake. Like, you still have the narrative, you still have the characters. If you were to go and play it on the PC like it originally was, you would understand the story, but it's just playing different. It's playing up to modern standards. I think that's a way to have a remake. But the second you start changing the narrative, I mean, then you're just milking the name at that point. Then it's not even it's not even the game at that point. Like, you might as well call, like I said, like with Final Fantasy VII Remake, you might as well call it FF7. You know, what was FF13? Wasn't it
13.1 and 13.2?
Yeah.
13.1, 13.2, and then Lightning Returns.
Yeah, like you might as well have it like that. Like it might as well be Final Fantasy 7-2. Like, because you're not even playing the original 7 at that point. Like, even from like a narrative standpoint, you're not even playing the original 7. So
yeah, lots to think about.
It really is.
I'm all behind remasters and remakes. Like, I don't, like, at the end of the day, like, I think it's always good to let current gamers play games of the past or be able to experience them up to modern standards. But there's got to be a point where, like, it stops and we start focusing on the future instead of focusing on the past.
Yeah,
exactly. I agree. Like, I enjoyed the remake games that have come out, but yeah, I do prefer a brand new game.
I've always been more of like, I want new experiences. Like, I understand, like, sometimes it's nice to see like an old game being remade, and you're like, oh man, this is just how I remembered it, rather than like going back and playing FF7, seeing them all like blocky and shit.
Yeah.
To me, like, those games I actually never got to play, you know, like Medieval and the Ghostbusters game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those got remade, and I was like, alright, cool, I never got to play those, so that was kind of nice.
Well, Ghostbusters is more like a remaster, quote-unquote remaster, right? It was like basically just like the normal
game.
Yeah, I think so.
Over.
They just took out the multiplayer.
Yeah, and I think that's my whole point of, like, why remasters are good, because, like I said, I keep using it as an example, but, like, I mean, if you look at the people today that would have played Mafia 1 when it came out back in the day on the PC, is probably not even comparable, like, to the people that got to experience it, like, with modern graphics in 2020. Like, there may be the same amount of people, but, like, you get what I'm saying. It's a different pool of people that are playing it, so people are actually able to, like, experience it that may not even have been alive when the original one came out. And I think that that's better than trying to, like, get people to play the original, because that's probably just a pain in the ass to go back and do. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's a slippery slope. I can go either way. I appreciate them when they're done right, but I do get angry. Like, I didn't know about the FF7, like, story changing. That kind of actually pisses me off, because, like, that's the whole point. Like, the whole point of, like, remaking a game is to keep the narrative, I would think.
Oh, yeah,
but
like, pissed off everyone. And I don't know, it's probably like spoilers.
Yeah.
Probably should have said spoiler alert. But
well,
I don't know, like,
didn't, like, RE3 leave stuff out too?
Oh, yeah.
RE3 left out like a whole section.
Yeah,
took out an entire enemy.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I remember hearing that when that one came out and people were pissed about it.
But yeah, like, I got pretty miffed about FF7, and like now I kind of see it more as like a commentary on like the culture of remakes, I guess.
Yeah, and
just because there's just so many remakes coming out now, and then like now like we were talking about right now, like the lines are being blurred. Like, is FF7 a remake? Is it not? Is Mafia a remake, or is it more of a remaster?
Remake.
And then you get people that'll say, like, oh, you're just hating on FF7 because it's a remake, blah, blah, like, this is why we shouldn't make remakes. No one's not saying that. Like, people do want remakes of old games, but when you're literally changing the narrative of the game, it's not the game anymore. Like, that's the annoying part.
There's like a whole enemy in like FF7 now in the remake. Their name is like the Wisps or whatever, and their whole job or whatever in the game is to keep everything going how it did in the original game. So like sometimes there's stuff in the game that didn't happen in the original, like in the original, the way they show Sephiroth, or like they don't even show Sephiroth in like the first few hours of the game, and that FF7 remake, he's like basically there 30 minutes in the game. But like, and the remake, when you go to like the top of like the Shinra building, you're supposed to see all these slashes everywhere, and like the president of the company has like a big sword in his back and all that, and you're supposed to be like, oh my god, who did this, and all that. In the original game. In the remake, it's not there at all, because that's what the destiny was changed or whatever. And so now like the Shinra, like now, and now like characters in the original game that were dead are alive now. Like the Shinra boss is now alive. There's this character called Zack, which is like, I don't want to like spoil it or whatever, but he's like a main component of like the overarching story. Now he's alive, and like I don't know if like the original story works with him being alive still. And then like the ending is literally, the ending in the remake is literally Sephiroth saying like, hey, fuck the story of the original FF7. Let's make our own destiny. And it's like, what?
So
it's just,
yeah, I'll leave it on this question. I have two questions, and you guys can answer them, and anyone can answer them. So wouldn't it be more difficult to manipulate a narrative that's already been formed when doing a remake? And then my next question is, if you want to manipulate it, why not just like do DLC? Like DLC is a thing now. Just add it on later, or add it on like, you know what I mean? If you want to add another boss, if you want to add another section to the game, just do it DLC. Like, I think that would be more acceptable than saying like, this is a true remake. No, the fuck it isn't. Like,
oh yeah. Well, I know it happened a lot on PS2 days. Like Capcom still kind of does it. It's like like director's cut versions of games or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was Kingdom Hearts 1, and then there was Kingdom Hearts 1 the Final Mix, which added like more story and like new secret bosses and shit like that. I'd rather see stuff like that personally.
Or why not call it that? Like, you don't have to call it, like, if it has a director's cut, then call it like director's cut remaster or something. I just feel like these games, there's already been in the past, there's already been so much time that's gone into creating that narrative, and it's almost selfish for someone to come in and say, yeah, I don't like that narrative, I'm going to twist it the way I want to, but we're still going to call it the same game. Like, what? I mean, you're essentially spitting in the face of the original developers behind the game.
Yeah, and that goes into like the other thing of do they have any right to change it or whatever? It's like,
you're changing Demon IP Souls, at that point.
Yeah, it's like when the Demon Souls remake happened. I read somewhere that the developers were considering an easy mode, and then they were like, okay, but the original game didn't have that. Is it in our place to do that? And they ultimately decided not to.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
I can't believe that people don't have that thought, though. Like, if I was to be in charge of remastering, like, you almost have to be, like, you have to have such a high ego to think, like, oh, I'm just going to change this story to what I want it to be, or take out what I want to take out, or, like, do any of that, and, like, think that it's okay to do, and then call it the same game. Like, you got some balls on you, my mans.
This is Nomura we're talking about, so. But let's end it there.
Yeah.
We're at 2:39, basically.
Yeah, we can finish up.
This one was literally talked about yesterday, I guess.
Technically, yes.
Technically, yesterday, yeah.
The hidden Sony PSP 5G clue that hints at a Nintendo Switch Pro ambush. So I guess I didn't read all of it, but I guess there's like something that implies Sony's making like a PlayStation Switch kind of deal. So yeah, with 5G technology.
Yeah, 5G.
Mm-hmm. Gonna get some cancer while I'm playing it.
Yeah, get some coronavirus.
You can't say that.
We've already said the big C word before.
Darn, the big C is coming out. Yeah, we talked about this a little bit before the podcast start. I can't see handheld stuff like succeeding right now.
No.
And the whole reason why I think the Switch is successful is because you have the option of mobile and docking. It's not like the Switch isn't successful because it's only mobile. It's successful because it's both. It has the ability to be both. And when you're forcing someone to be just mobile, I mean that's why the Vita failed, let's be honest. Like that's why the PSP failed. Like when you're forcing to have just mobile, like
well, I wouldn't say that's why the Vita failed. The Vita failed because...
well, it killed itself.
Just because of how... Like, Sony killed the Vita, basically.
Yeah.
Because, one, they made memory cards proprietary.
Yes.
And second, they made those memory cards stupid expensive.
Yes.
They're still stupid expensive.
They shot themselves in the foot when they did that.
And apparently the reason they did that was to keep the price of the console low, because it was like at $200 when it came out, which is like insane thinking about it.
It was like a makeup.
Yeah.
Kind of.
But then also there wasn't first party support on it after like a while. I feel like the reason Switch did so well is because of what you said, and also because no one has the IP power like Nintendo.
That's true as well.
I mean, like no one's gonna buy a Vita just so they can play Jak and Daxter on the go.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say you kind of hit on it where like the Vita had good games for a short amount of time, and it's the games that everyone thinks about. You know, Killzone Mercenary, Resistance: Burning Skies, Uncharted. Can't even remember the fucking name of it because I could care less. Like, there's games that were on there that were only on there, and like they were big franchises, but it literally lasts like a few years, and then it kind of died off and became like essentially a trophy whoring machine. Sadly.
Yeah. At one point, people were only buying it so like that they can play Persona 4, and now that's on PC, so it's like there's no real point of owning it if you're trophy whoring, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm kind of skimming through this whole article, you know, and they're basically saying if they come out of this and the PlayStation VR 2 launch, Sony will cover all its bases, and they'll have the VR, they'll have the home console, and they'll have the portable. But then other part thing was saying it'll rely on cloud-based and 5G technology. Well, we already know cloud-based gaming isn't ready yet. It is the future, yeah, but Stadia failed, so this isn't gonna fucking work, and Sony's not that dumb.
Yeah.
I think, like, Sony should just give up on the portable space, like... One, people just aren't playing portable. Like, I feel Switch is the outsider because you can play real games on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the other difference is with Switch is, you know, you have the ability to do like to essentially transform the console where like you're not the thing with when you're playing on a Vita, right? And this is why so many people hate it. Like you play on it and your thumbs legitimately start to hurt because of where the buttons are located. And like people have to buy like third-party like fake controllers to like house it in so it's comfortable to hold. Where like with the Switch, you can literally plop that sucker down on a table or on your lap, unhook your remotes, and you can hold them in your in both hands comfortably, and not have to worry about a thing. Or you can buy a Pro controller, or you can buy the little thing that they like the controller that they like. It's more comfortable to play on the go.
Like, when we're talking before the stream, Snickle had the right idea for this.
basically think about a Vita, but like a Switch version, where you plug it in, your game save goes right to that console. You could play on the go. Now, it'll be kind of cool if my DualSense worked with the controller, so I could just use my Vita as a screen and just use my DualSense with me. I'm okay with that. And as long as I can carry my save, and then when I get home, transfer my save back to the console, and I can keep playing.
I think that would be okay.
Yeah.
I think handheld gaming is just kind of dead.
I agree.
Yeah.
Now, because Switch is an outsider in this, just because like I said before, you can play real games on it, and then there's a whole thing about putting it on your
and you
TV
know what?
and all that jazz,
and I have a Switch, and I barely use it. I use it if I go out somewhere.
Same.
I mainly got it for my nieces and nephews, and I bought it for me for Pokemon.
Well, I got my Switch because most of the Platinum games are Platinum games are exclusive on the Nintendo consoles right now.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's basically the only reason I got it. But it's also, I also use it for school, because I used to drive an hour for school, so I would just stay over there till midnight and then come back home. And I would use that to pass the time.
I was gonna say, I agree with you, Waves, where I think mobile gaming is kind of dead, because if you think about it, no one, it's different in that state where if you're gonna be driving, but you're gonna be in a car for an hour, or you're gonna be going somewhere for a few hours and you want to do something, but no one would pull out a Vita on their bus ride home for 20 minutes and play a little bit of a game, you know what I mean? And
right.
the occurrences of people doing things like driving in the car for multiple hours is something that doesn't happen all the time.
Especially now right now.
Yeah, especially right now. But like what Brian was saying, we were talking about earlier, before the podcast started, the only way I can see the Vita, a mobile game working, is if there's some sort of way of connecting it to your saves on your PlayStation, because it would be irritating to play a game on the Vita. Well, and it was, because this is how it was, except for some games. It would be irritating to play a game on the Vita and then go to play it on a PS4 or PS5 and not have your save. And I think one of the features that's amazing about the Vita, but it's very underutilized, but it also depends a lot on internet speed, is the ability to remote play.
Which now you can do on your phone and connect your DualSense to.
Or a laptop. Right. So it's not you need that to do it. But if you're talking about a Vita that's 5G and you can do it anywhere, and then you have stable internet at home, I think that's at least a little bit of a gimme, because when you connect on your phone or you connect on your PC, you have to have your controller to play. Where if you're doing something where it's all connected in one, it could be a little more interesting. Or if it's almost used as a hub to plug, and then you can plug it into a TV. So if you go to a hotel and you want to play a game, you would plug your Vita into a TV that would be streaming from your PS5 at home over the internet. I don't know, it's just I just think the whole idea of mobile gaming, I don't think people utilize it as much as people put it out, make it out to be, unless you're a kid.
The only thing that kept the DS alive as much as it was is because of Monster Hunter and Pokemon.
Right.
And kids, legitimately kids kept that alive. It wasn't I feel the PS Vita was trying to focus on adults, young adults. You didn't see a 5-year-old running around with a Vita, because if they threw it at the ground, it would fucking break, where a DS was literally a brick.
Yeah. And then there's the whole thing, the 5G thing. So now I'm gonna have to get a plan with Verizon or fucking T-Mobile or who fucking knows who, because I think last time they did 3G on the Vita and it was only through AT&T.
Yep.
So now I'm gonna have to get a plan through someone, and now I have to pay monthly for that, just so I can play PS5 games on the go.
Yeah.
This just sounds like a whole bunch of bad ideas.
I just don't think that people utilize mobile gaming as much as it's made out to be. Like
Yeah.
truly, like, people who are going to buy this, they're not going to be sitting in the backseat of their car while their parents are doing a road trip. Like that's the only time that you would really see people like. I don't think, like, this is just something that people just don't utilize, really. And like you said with your Switch waves, like, you would do it when you were driving to school and when you were at school to pass time, but like now you don't do that anymore. So like, are you actually like utilizing your Switch as much? Like, it worked for you at the time, but like,
yeah, like the most I touched my Switch since like the big C word happened is when my power went out. And it was like the only thing with battery.
Yeah.
Like, I've been thinking about, like, just getting my Vita back up and going and getting, like, a better memory card. So, when I'm at work, where I just leave it at work and, like, alright, I could play it on my break and my lunch and so I don't do nothing. And I'm like, but really, that's like 15 minutes, half hour, 15 minutes. What the hell am I going to get done in that time?
Yeah, that's like, that's what I always think about. Like, so I'm riding the bus from work to home. Yeah, I'm going to hop on the bus for 10 minutes and play like a quarter of a level in Uncharted. Okay.
I believe the PSVR 2 thing happening.
Oh, yeah.
I think if this was Sony like 10 years ago, they probably would have been crazy enough to do it. Because like Sony 10 years ago was just insane. They put anything out.
Yeah.
But like Sony now, I can't see them doing this at all.
No.
Yeah, and like I said, the only way it works is if there has to be some sort of cloud-based remote play that they cannot do. They cannot do the memory cards again. If they do that, they're going to shoot themselves in the foot. Because they already shot themselves in the foot once doing that. So,
like, I guess like the way I can see it happening is if they made like a downsized version of the PS5, and it's basically just a PlayStation Switch where you just put it on the dock. And then you can't play like all PS5 games. Like you can't play Resident Evil 8 on it or some shit like that. But you can play like, I don't know, Persona 5 on the go or some shit like that.
It's just, it's crazy to think how they would implement it though. Because like, so now if you have a PS5, whatever they call, or PSP2 or whatever the fuck they call it. So now if someone owns a game physically for the PS5, is it going to work for that as well? Like, so then you get into the whole thing of, so if I want to play on the go, I need to buy a different version of this game? Like, what? That's why I think it would have to be remote play, and, like, they would have to give an option to be able to dock it, because, like, I think that's why the Switch succeeds so much, is not because they're forcing someone to make it a mobile device, but it can be mobile, but when you get somewhere and you're not mobile anymore, you can dock that bad boy right on up, and now you're playing on a full-size TV.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think this is gonna happen.
No, I don't think it'll happen.
I think Sony saw how like hard Vita crashed and burned. They were just like, "No, we're good. Home consoles are our thing now."
Yeah. This would have to be a mix between like the Vita and the PS TV, from like docking capability and mobile capability. And I don't think that they'll put the R&D into that. And then, like you said, Waves, the whole icing on the cake comes to money. No one's going to want to pay for a monthly plan to play this shit a few times a day. It's not going to happen. This would have to be someone's main driver when it comes to playing games, and it wouldn't be. So,
like, people complain about paying $10 a month for PS Plus.
You think you're going to pay $20 a month for 5G? Because that shit ain't cheap right now.
Yeah.
Plus your $10 a month for PlayStation Plus.
Yeah. And you can't buy this for like a kid. Like, I think that's why the DS was so successful because people could argue that all day. The DS was the Game Boy. You look at any of Nintendo's handheld consoles, they were all bricks. You look at the PSP or the PS Vita, you drop that shit from 2 foot off the ground, it's dead.
Mm-hmm.
The thing also is like, just culture in general has changed. We have a phone that can like do half the shit that like
a computer can do.
Yeah, like half the shit a computer can do. Like, just said kids bought a Nintendo DS. I'm thinking more 3DS. I never saw a kid with a 3DS like once I got to high school.
Oh yeah,
because they were all on iPads. They were on iPhones.
Yep. Yeah, I'm talking like way like when it first came out. Like you would see more kids with a DS or 3DS than you would see adults. Where like
and that's mostly because of like the only thing you could play on your phone back then was fucking Snake or God of War Betrayal, I guess.
Yeah, or like I guess it was before like Flappy Bird, but it was like basic shit like that.
Yeah, it was like back then there was a point to having a thing like a fucking on the go console because like you couldn't play fucking Mario on your flip phone back then.
You know what? You know what Sony would be better off doing in this case? They already have the app made for remote playing on the phones, right? Mm-hmm. They would be better off putting R&D into developing some sort of external controller that works with that app, and then people can just use their phone and their data plans to remote play into their consoles, rather than trying to make a whole new console or a whole new portable You already, like you said, Waves, you already have the portable console. It's your phone. You have it. Your phone can do all of that. Do that.
The thing is, you can already connect your phone to your your DualSense or to your DualShock 4 and already play like your PS5 or your PS4 on the go. Obviously, like 4G LTE is like not fast enough. 5G probably is. I don't know. I don't have 5G phone.
5G is like 2 gigs or something. It's way fast enough to do any sort of streaming. But I guess what I'm trying to get
at... It's already
there. Go ahead.
I'm just saying it's already there.
Yeah, it's already there.
See the point of it.
But like, I guess what I'm trying to get at is like, if they're worried about like it being an all-in-one and not like someone having to whip out their phone and then like putting their phone down, like me standing my phone up on my lap and then holding a full controller, like them wanting to, because I feel like their idea is to be so fixated on a console that's like, or something that's like all-in-one. You know what I mean? The buttons are there, all the stuff is there, not like the Switch where you can like slide shit off. Like if that's what they're focused on, then put R&D into like making a controller that can like hold your phone that's comfortable. You already have the apps made. And let people use their data plans that they already have instead of trying to force a new data plan on somebody. Like that just seems the whole like data plan is like the icing on the cake for like this shit will never happen. And if it does, it will not be successful because think of the Vita. How many Vitas did they sell that were Wi-Fi, and how many of them were cellular? Do you think?
I'm probably like the only one who bought a 3G one.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it because if you don't pay for the plan, it's not worth it.
Yeah,
you have to keep the plan going. So I mean that makes more sense to me now that we're kind of discussing it to put R&D into that. But I don't think they'll make a whole new portable console. I truly don't.
I just started wondering about this. I don't know do y'all remember the Xperia Play?
No.
So it was like a phone Sony made. And it had a D-pad and like the PlayStation buttons, like the triangle, circle, square, X. Mm-hmm. And you could connect it to your PlayStation account if you had like PS1 games. You could download it on your phone and play it on there. I just started wondering what if this is literally like a phone that they're working on.
I mean,
it's like
that would be kind of cool.
Xperia Play phone, but like now it works with like PS5 games on like remote play wise.
I mean, it could be, but like, I just think the mobile gaming is dead. I mean, do you remember the PSP Go?
Well, no, I'm saying it's a phone. Like it's a phone, and you slide it up or whatever.
Yeah, but is it worth paying the extra money to get a Sony Xperia or whatever they would call it phone just to play some games mobily? Like,
well, yeah, I'm not saying it's worth it. I'm just saying like, it's
that's definitely like a. I mean, the picture that they have on the article is definitely like a jank photo. Like it would not look like that, but.
I mean, yeah, that's literally just a PSP with
a touchpad at the bottom and some new controller or some new thing at the top. But honestly, they should take the mobile gaming ideas out back, let them pick the flowers, and then shoot it right in the back of the head and leave it there.
Let them think they're gonna take care of the rabbits or whatever.
Yeah, and then take that out. But I think that's about it. That's all the articles we have.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to add before the boys sign out for the night or morning?
I'll just like to remind everybody, if you get us to 100 subscribers, we will be streaming the Killzone Shadows Fall online multiplayer boost live. We'll answer questions, talk to everybody. We'll be doing that on are we doing it on your Twitch account, Snickle?
Probably. It'll probably be the easiest.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll just do it on Snickle's Twitch when we get it. And, like, I bought the game. It's right there on the shelf. I'm playing at my shelf, even though nobody can see, but still.
And I know what you people are saying. There's only 2 trophies that you have to get multiplayer. We're doing the whole thing together, okay? So...
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that dumbass excuse.
Doing it for you guys.
Also, if you get us to 1,000 subs before that's
that
not gonna
2021
before the end of the year, Snickle and Brian will stream Dead or Alive Extreme 3 on the Rogue Hunters PSN account.
We do actually have a PSN account. I made it. We just never used it.
I will put it on my own account if that happens.
Oh.
So you can take that. You can take that and do what you want with it.
It's not happening.
You better do some prayers. But yeah, 100 subs. We'll be streaming Killzone Shadowfall. The whole thing. 1,000 subs by the end of the year. Dead or Alive Extreme 3.
But
get us to that one. Because I don't think Snickle thinks it could happen.
Well, you want to know what's funny? No one remembered this. I made a bet a while back, and I said if I hit 10,000 subscribers before the PS5 came out, I would do a face reveal.
And you did.
And I did.
You did.
And that is why I started to do face cam on stream. I made a bet, and I think 1 or 2 people heard it. It was never documented, but I stuck to my word.
But thanks for watching episode 14 of the Rogue Hunters podcast.
Thanks,
all the
everybody.
links are down in the description below. Like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Thanks for all the support. We will catch you next time. But I gotta go take a piss.
Let's go.
And welcome to the first 3-hour podcast.
I'm still gonna go take a piss.